Audio.
Doesn't volume get here?
Ruben, you got
Audio.
a smart mouth, don't you?
No.
Yeah.
I got a little dumb mouth, Ramon.
Oh, no!
Because Michelle was like so excited for us to interact. So
That's true. I don't.
It's gonna
Yeah.
turn into both of you stabbing her in the eye.
The five mouths of Ruben. Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Perez. I'm joined by a menagerie of buddies. We have Jake. We have Ruben. Lucy and Eliza aren't around at the moment. This is the Pig Iron Podcast. Today, I want to say that most of the time I'm going to be doomsaying about things or something in the current moment, which will always, of course, be a week to 2 weeks late, but I'm feeling great. I recently got a bicycle. I am so fucking out of shape. I smoke, I chain smoke. I'm higher than like most people typically are when they're in like a hospice program. It's debilitating how high I am, but let me tell you that like a bicycle, especially because now you can like basically get them for all but free. I recommend them. 4 out of 5 bags of popcorn. Like, get a fucking bicycle if you are into that sort of thing. The heat has been miserable. That's not going to improve anytime soon. So like, if you can sort of change your relationship to that fucking level of constant heat all the time, a bike is pretty helpful for that. Walking through this shit is like hell on earth. I think all of England just blew up at once. I think basically every AUKUS-packed country, which is to say like English-speaking people that are transphobic and are like trying to put in a new fat Hitler, like these countries historically blow up and are just full of wildfires to the point where, what was it, 4 or so years back, you could see Australia on fire from space. That's going to be everywhere they speak English. So you're going to want to get the fuck out of there, and you're going to want a bike. Today, we're joined with 2 pals from I don't want to say competitor or rival, because this is all love here, but we don't have a Patreon yet. If we ever do get one in the near future, which is looking like that's a thing shaping up to happen, they would be our competitors, as Daniel Plainview said, and there will be blood.
Don't make it weird, Michelle.
Always going to make it weird. Two friends from an episode we actually recorded with them, me and you, Jake. From Mex Flentallo, Ruben. Did you hear that? Did you hear me say that correctly?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. We're going.
Daniel Irizarri and Ramon Villalobos. Welcome to the podcast. How you two doing today?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing very nice.
Doing good, Michelle, Jake, Ruben. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you guys.
it's fantastic to be here.
You guys have
Glad to hear
technically been podcasting for a lot longer than we have, so we're happy to have you
technically.
veterans in the game.
Technically, if you just count
Technically.
from when we started, we've been
Yeah.
podcasting
Very
for
technically.
a long time.
From our launch date, yes.
Well, yeah, welcome to the show, y'all. Thanks for being here. If you aren't familiar with either of these cats as artists, they're very
Understandably so.
good. Well,
no, not understandably so. I'm very well known.
we
This is
have
true.
an audience that overlaps with comics, but we're not a comics podcast. So, some people might be here for other backgrounds. But yeah, these 2 dudes are illustrators in addition to being podcasters, just to make that very clear.
That's right.
Yeah, we doodle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as that goes, these guys basically do a lot of bit of everything. They're very prolific print artists in addition to doing covers and big three comics. This is pretty wild. That said, I mean, everyone seems
if we're like bunching Ramon's output and mine, then yeah, we're together. Max Flentallo together is that. Yeah, let's call it that.
Yeah,
because I feel very much less known, and I'm like very like
well, you've got like 1,000
it.
followers.
Yeah.
I want
it's like
to say
minimal,
that,
not a lot.
Oh no! But the thing is, the people that know your stuff won't stop fucking yelling at me. I have a friend, Francine, who we had on a previous episode, talk to me about Judge Dredd. Daniel,
really?
have you ever talked to anyone that is even mildly into Judge Dredd?
Yeah, a couple people, but like I feel like that part of my life, it feels very like I feel very detached from it, not in a bad way, but
The Ulysses
it's
Fariñas
fascinating
part
that
of your
you know
life.
somebody who read it.
Oh yeah, no, in as much as that, if you ever interact with someone who knows Judge Dredd, they will not shut the fuck up about that specific art. Mega City Zero, I believe.
Daniel, do you mean the Ulysses Fariñas part of your life, the Uliverse part of your life?
Yeah, it's not that I'm detached from it. It's just like IDW work is very like for that moment I was an IDW employee. Afterwards, I don't know.
You haven't turned them away; they've turned you away.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting to talk about actually, because to be like just to clear things up, like this, we're talking about a Judge Dredd book that you drew for IDW.
Yeah, called The Cursed Earth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Judge Dredd,
comic.
Normally like a British comic that's published in a book called 2000 AD. So IDW, I believe, like what they had to license Judge Dredd to make those Judge Dredd comics, or made a deal with them somehow.
Yeah, they were licensing the property to produce American made Judge Dredd books, which the British fans would always consider not Dredd or fake Dredd.
Okay, I was actually curious about that when I was looking up some of the books.
Well, this
I did a cover for Judge Dredd too, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone's got his hands in.
It wasn't very good.
Even my achievements.
I felt bad because they're like, "Oh, Judge Dredd," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I gave him some ideas, and then one of them, he was like turned around, like he had his back to the thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then it's like they picked that one. And I was like, oh well, the one time I drew Judge Dredd, it's like his ass,
his and his back, shoulders,
not the part of Judge Dredd that you actually
wide.
Like care about.
You barely got to do the helmet.
Draw the hell out of those shoulder pads, man.
It was hilarious. And then I drew the wrong gun because I didn't know that mattered.
Oh wow, I didn't know that mattered.
Yeah,
it's a big deal for Judge Dredd freaks.
Judge Dredd freaks are like Dark Souls freaks. They go into the minutia. They will wiki that shit for everything.
Well, it's been around for a very long. Like there are a lot of Judge Dredd comics.
Yeah, it's an institution. It's an institution.
Oh yeah, if you've been reading it for more than 8 years, you sort of fucking are the wiki at some point. Like a lot of comics, like fans are. And Ramon, where to start? You've done fucking everything. I've fixated on one thing specifically. I know Jake is going to ask a million comics questions, but like if you had to rank the shoes, because Ramon does like a lot of prints, and so many of them are with like licensed or established characters, and they're always wearing like very sick shoes. For me, one of my favorites is the Spider-Man in Chucks. Like that one it's very simplistic. Like the way the shoes sort of move up, and they had this idea for that one Sony movie. They had Nikes built into his suit at some point.
Well, yeah. So I used to draw Spider-Man. Never Chucks, by the way. I've drawn him in PF Flyers and some Adidas skateboarding shoes. Yeah. But I drew them back in the day because I just thought that would be cool. Like, I mean, you know, the drawing regular superhero boots or whatever, a lot of times people do it and it's just like feet, you know, that like with no toes and like a line at the ankle. So I like to draw like boots and stuff. And then I thought that drawing shoes would get me popping on Tumblr. So I just started doing that, and it did. And
Yes.
then I sort of fell into love with the idea of shoes at that time. So then I sneaker culture and all that. It's pretty gross, like sneaker culture.
I was gonna ask, did you become a sneakerhead, or were you just observing it?
No, I did. I own a lot of shoes now. They're mostly all in like a bin from when I was making when I was more prolific. I was faster of an artist, and I was like selling a lot of shit. Then I was like buying shoes a lot, but I didn't have like the crazy expensive taste. So a lot of my shoes are like worth nothing.
No,
but
Supremes.
I had some like Yeezy, and I sold them because I felt like I'm like 30 and I'm going anywhere where there's like teenagers wear those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like real like quarter life crisis.
I watched. Do you guys know Channel 5, Andrew Callahan's interviews? Yeah. I watched the Sneaker Con episode recently, and it felt like everybody at that convention was under the age of 25, maybe.
Yeah. It's a reality check.
It was really wild. I was like, oh, because I'm very detached from that whole side of cult. Like I do a lot of nerdy collectible shit, but the sneaker stuff is very foreign to me in a certain way.
Like the meme of the white kid with the perm. Like,
well, what?
50 of them.
At the same time, it's somewhat similar because I was watching. If you look at those sneakers, like it's the same at a Magic the Gathering convention with dudes selling cards, or like at a fucking Disney with a fucking pin trading. These dudes, there's just this whole the vendor shit is super super familiar.
That one was weird because I've been to WonderCon in Anaheim. Like,
is it
a bunch.
Same building?
It's the same building. So like walking up to it, I'm like, oh my god, like I know this place intimately. But I'd never been to a sneaker con because it just felt like a gross thing to go to. Like,
right.
I'm sure it smells crazy in there, like just the insane, rubber. Just like the insane like Axe body spray that those people wear. Like they're,
I'm
like,
sure it's a
teenage
very
hype
specific.
Beasts are insane.
Yeah.
But that's what I learned when I would like watch it. Is like they don't value it for like aesthetics or art or anything that I did.
Right.
They just like the idea that it's worth something. And so like that kind of killed my energy for it.
The sneakers,
Well, it used to be that there was like new stuff being made. Like Adidas was making new they were called like Ultra Boost that were like cool, and there was like new shit that were coming out. And then at a certain point it became Jordan 1s was it. Like, and I don't care about Jordan 1s. I don't care about Jordans in general. So then I was like, all right, well, I'm done with this. But then I got really into boots. So I'm on a different wave. That's a new wave.
Boots.
More. What kind of boots are we drawing superheroes in these days?
Well, I mean, I make up my own shit, but I mean, like, I got me a pair of Red Wings that I wear all the time.
Hell yeah.
Because you could resole them. It's better. Like, like the other thing about the sneaker shit is like all that stuff is just made in like sweatshops, and you know, it's like with really bad materials, like low quality. So they're not built for anything like long term or anything, not sustainable at all. It's just like it's an awful thing. So then I got the boots because it's like, well, they're union made. They are made of good materials that would theoretically last for a very long time, So yeah, it was like a radical shift in the way I was thinking about things, but that's a long way to say, yeah, I do like to draw shoes. I still do. I still look at the new stuff when it comes out. I haven't bought a pair of sneakers in God knows how long. Oh, there is some like Adidas that I saw come out. They look like 90s skate shoes, which, I wasn't a skater, but all my friends were. So I'm like, oh,
dude, I remember.
Sweet.
Yeah, I remember wanting skate shoes.
Yeah, they're like, those fat shoes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and like the thing is, I'm always like a few like years ahead, like a year of what like will become popular, like just because I'm usually keeping track of trends like that,
Yeah.
So like, I had like the only shoes I wear were like New Balances that I got for like dirt cheap, and then New Balances became very popular.
Mm-hmm.
but like my nephew, he has no idea that like, I know so much more about fashion and shoes than him, and I think it drives him nuts.
That's very funny.
That's right.
I don't know anyone that cares about, like, I have no hype beast nephew.
I do. My nephew's crazy. All he does is like buy like now the new thing, like almost more than sneakers, is fitted hats and like pins and stuff.
Oh hell yeah.
They're like super popular again. So he has an Instagram page that is just fitted hats that he gets. And he just asked me if I could design a pin for him, and I was just like, dude, don't
I don't know, man.
This shit.
Is this the nephew you did a commission for?
This is the nephew that I, like 4 years ago, I told him I would draw him It, or Pennywise from It.
Right.
And then I drew it, and Daniel lost his mind about how good it was because I was just giving it to my nephew.
It's not even that he drew. Like, I've drawn art for family, and you do it out of love and everything. Yeah. But Ramon made this deal with his nephew that
it wasn't a deal.
He did this commission his nephew could loan him the Switch.
I was gonna say how much ecstasy.
No. It was a Switch loan. Daniel's changing it up. The thing was, I wanted to borrow his Switch. And I told him I would give him the drawing because it was almost done.
This was a good faith gesture. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'll give you the drawing. I'll come by. I'll bring you the drawing. He's been asking me about it for like 3 years now. It's supposed to be for his birthday.
Oh, damn. Okay. So there's some context there.
Okay.
Yeah. Daniel's acting like I drew this fucking thing to give it to him to borrow the Switch for like a couple weeks.
I'm just assuming that every time Ramon wants to like borrow the Switch, he has to do a whole other commission.
Damn.
No, but I also don't want to like the Switch. I don't want to play the Switch because I don't give a fuck about the Switch.
Yeah, I forget. You're too cool for school.
That was just so I could own you guys on Mario Kart. And I did.
And you did. Of course you did. Yeah.
I own
wow, that's noble.
No, so Daniel, he's a real hitter on Mario Kart. I didn't own him.
We love gamers on this podcast.
I own some of my other friends. Some of our other
this
friends.
This is a Mario Kart racing zone.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah,
but now they all want me to play again, and I don't know why, because I'm not very good at it. And
it's just because we have the fever. We have the fever again.
I think it's literally. I think for Mario Kart, it literally is a numbers game. It's like a more socially acceptable version of like how people got really into Jackbox games for a while. Instead, with like Mario Kart, it's like
it's gambling.
It's a good party game.
Yeah. Well, what happened was we all got into it. For like, well, they're all still into it, but we all got into it around the same time, and then Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah,
and it kind of killed our energy.
When Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, like when Russia invaded Ukraine, we were like, dude, Mario Kart, like, what are they racing for?
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
hitting someone with a green turtle shell just didn't feel right anymore. You know?
Yeah.
If it's a NATO shell.
Exactly.
They're doing a different kind of shelling out there.
And the blue shell.
The blue shells are NATO shells.
No, the blue shells are JDAMs. They go up into the air and they land again. Yeah, oh no,
it's crazy, dude. The amount of money that the U.S. is selling NATO for these proxy war shells is insane. And I didn't want to be a part of that. And I don't know why they're a part of that, but that's their business. I don't judge them for it. But yet they judge me for it.
Yeah, no,
so tell me how that's
retired. Fair. You can no longer. You put the steering wheel away.
Ramon's making the ethical choice.
I'm fighting for a greater cause, peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This news just came in. Someone blue shelled the Pope.
Plus, I gave my Switch back to my nephew, so it's like I can't play.
You gotta do a whole other fucking drawing.
Well, the other thing too was I had like a 2-week trial for the Nintendo World or whatever. I'm not gonna pay for Nintendo for access to use their game.
You mean like online?
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this.
It's pretty fucking cheap, but
I was about to say, let's say you don't get the expansion pack, $20 for a year of something is not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, we've been indoctrinated to the point where we can do that. We can pay $20 for a year
for the pleasure of playing a game for a console that I don't own. So why would I pay that?
Oh yeah, true. I mean, there's no.
That's completely fair.
Why don't you use this kid shit? Why don't you use his account? I mean, does he not have it?
No, they don't have it because they don't ever fucking play it.
Oh
that
my
thing
god!
that thing was collecting dust.
Just
they had not
steal
played
it from your
months.
nephew. You're an
You
uncle.
wouldn't even know
like,
this.
What is this? Why are we talking about this bullshit? Let's talk about something else.
Why are we trying to get Ramon?
It's just Ramon's hypebeast nephew,
Hold
and I was
on.
connecting the dots over here on my side.
I thought we were going to talk about process on this fucking podcast, not about why I don't play Mario Go Kart.
Ruben's had a
A
question for
fascist,
like 10 minutes.
imperialist game, by the way.
Ruben.
So isn't the Switch Online stuff like, can't 8 people share an account that's $10 a year or some shit?
No, now you're just throwing out arbitrary numbers.
You know,
You're
I think
arbitrary numbers. What the fuck, Michelle? You can't even do math half the time I'm talking to you. Shut the fuck up.
You know
List-
the M on Mario's hat is for Mussolini, right?
Can't
You know
be that
originally
much.
he was a brown shirt, right? You know that's what he's about.
Teach
I
these
don't do
devils.
that.
Teach these devils.
That's when he's Italian. When he's Mexican, he's cool.
I don't play those games,
Well,
bro.
Mexican Mario is different.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. You guys started a podcast called Mex Flentallo.
That's right.
Why did you guys start that podcast? What
A
was
number of reasons. One, I wanted to do a podcast. I had used to do a podcast and then I stopped doing it, and there were no good comics podcasts. That was my
Right.
thing. Like I
Still,
would
it's
listen
still
to
the case.
I would listen to
yeah.
comics podcasts and I would get fucking bored out of my mind. Nobody would talk about interesting shit that I liked. And so I was like, I got to do one. And I was going to do one with my buddy, Dan McDade. And then right before we were going to record, he dropped out. And I was like, oh, okay. But then Daniel was there and I was like, you want
I
to
was
do it?
right next on the Rolodex. It's like Dan, Daniel.
Two Dans.
Well, it made sense too, because he's from Puerto Rico. I'm Mexican American. I'm a Chicano.
Right.
You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a natural beef there.
There's a natural synergy that we had stuff that we could talk about,
Right.
and we're both comic artists. We're both very talented.
It
So I'm like,
contributes
this
to
will be
the
clearly, yeah.
genius of the name too, which is
Well, that was all
yeah.
Daniel.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
that was him, because I didn't have any fucking name for the podcast. I didn't know what we were gonna call it. And then he's like, "What about? How do you feel about Mex Flentallo?" I'm like, "Oh, that's fucking perfect." Because there's no such thing as a Flentallo.
Ramon asked
Right.
me what comic I really liked, and like it's pretty easy to come to the conclusion of like Flex Mentallo.
Right. Very great 4-issue book from Grant Morrison and Frank Wiley.
Right.
I think it was like a Vertigo book, and it was
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
It was like after his Doom Patrol run, like some
Yeah.
years
Yeah,
later.
yeah, it was in the
It's-
middle of it.
Yeah, it's loosely
word, okay.
tied. It doesn't have a lot to do with the other Doom Patrol run,
Yeah.
but it's very much its own little weird self-contained book.
He's a character in it, but like,
Yeah.
but we haven't even talked about that book on the show. Like we,
We're
Once we
saving
got-
it for some kind of
Is this the-
special moment.
Is it your all's mythical white whale? Like you're just never gonna get to it?
so once we got started with the show, I had like a list of things I wanted to talk about. And what I found out very quickly was that every one of those things I would do like insane research into.
Mhm.
Like, so not only was it like taking away from my actual work, but it was becoming like a maddening thing where like I would just go on these insane like rabbit holes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And the
which-
idea
yeah.
initially was to get guests on that would be smarter than me and Daniel, but like, you know, no
Which is
offense, but that
easy for
never-
me,
Yeah,
but-
no. I think the episode we appeared on, which was the Hart D. Fisher episode.
That was a great episode.
I think the thing I was I'll fully admit I'm stupid. The thing I was most excited for was the ability to say faggot over and over again, and no one could do anything. No one could do anything. It
Brought
was
you on
great.
specifically because we wanted you
Yeah.
to say that word.
We needed some lines read from the book.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
but like, so every episode was like, I the idea initially was I wanted to get like people that blog about comics and like people that who when I first got into it, like I would do these interesting, like, I would read interesting articles about comics and stuff. And I just realized that most of those people either quit doing it. They're not interested
Yeah.
anymore. So then like
Ooh.
in lieu of that, talking to interesting people like you guys or other comic artists or writers or some other bloggers. And, we've had some cool guests on our show, but it just became like, it became early on, like, yeah, we'll do like an hour and a half episode. And then like some episodes were like well, most of them were like 2.5 to 3 hours, and then
the average episode length was that.
Yeah, so like it would just become hell before and then hell after for me to edit them, and I still have like one episode that we have to put up, so I'm probably going to put it before this comes out. That way nobody's like, oh, so I have to listen to other podcasts.
That's a great incentive.
Ooh.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we have another one with an Eternals movie review from when that first came on streaming. So like, that's been forever now.
Right. Oh my god, yeah.
I
was about to say, editing for that's got to be shitty, because if you like do anything remotely tied to that time, oh boy.
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes I just keep it in because I don't care. Like, but so we have a solution of that, which we had talked about a little bit on our Discord, which is I've just sort of decided, okay, I'm going to front load all the research. So I've been reading comics in this time that we haven't been recording, and I'm going to give Daniel them. Like I already gave him like a small list of things, and they're all sort of tied to the same, like a theme. So like the first thing we're going to do is like stuff about the Vietnam War. So I have comics from like when it happened, the 70s, 80s, 90s now, because
I believe there was some war. There's some Kubert stuff around that time, I think.
Not as much as I would have hoped, but
okay. Sorry.
But yeah, just like weird shit or interesting shit, and then we could talk about it. Sort of, we could do like a deep dive into how comics handled that thing, and then after we're done, maybe I'll have some time. We could like skip around and do a couple of other things, and then build up a second, like almost like a syllabus, So that's the idea, is that like before it would be like, okay, I want to do this thing, and then now I have to like spend my entire week when I'm not drawing staying up till like super early in the morning reading stuff, like not just comics, like articles about the thing. That way I didn't come on and say things that were uninformed, because that's the important thing was what you say, like, why did we start it? Part of it was, yes, there were no good comics podcasts, but also like the podcasts that I listened to, like Blowback, and I used to love Michael Brooks. We just passed the anniversary of his death. But I used to love listening to his podcast, and they would do like history lessons on the show, and I was like, I would feel so informed listening to that. So we wanted to bring that into it, and like I would honestly rather not do the show and spend time so that when we do it, it's really great, than do a shitty version of it that isn't living up to what we want to do, because I feel like that doesn't serve the audience that we've have for it. And when we're ready to do it on like a more permanent basis, then that'll be better than not that'll be better than doing like a real shitty version of it, because it could be so easy to just come on and be like, oh, so what are you drinking this week? What kind of beer do you got, Daniel?
Right. But it's like, yeah, if you don't want it to be that type of show, then there's no point.
Yeah.
Like that would be, like that would almost be detrimental, right? I think that's very well said. I didn't even I know you guys don't have a set release schedule, but I wasn't even really thinking that hard about it. I know there's a big back catalog too, for what it's worth, the people who haven't listened. Pretty chunky episodes as well.
There's a Tamara Bond villain episode that I listened to where you talked about Civil War. Yes.
Yeah, Civil War. Okay,
that was a good one.
Civil War, and just good God, everything Mark Miller came like after that. The
best Mark Miller episode might be with the one that we did for Trouble.
Like that was a really great episode.
That was so insane,
buddy.
The best part about it, because for those of you who don't know, Trouble is basically like Spider-Man's Aunt May is actually his real mom, but she was a slut.
It's not a canon book,
right? What's that, Daniel?
Is it canon?
I don't think so.
No.
Question. Is there any mention of abortion in it? Just FYI, like curious.
I don't think so, but basically, like his actual Uncle Ben was getting cucked by his actual dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was like his brother, who was his Uncle Ben's brother. So he was fucking Aunt May. Then Aunt May had a baby, but then she gave the baby away to his dad and his, not his birth mother, but his, adoptive mother, I guess. And
was she sisters with
no, they were
mom
just
as well, or
friends.
was it just the dads that were brothers?
Yeah, just the dads that
God.
were brothers. Yeah.
Mark Miller watched Dogtooth once.
But it was like
this is cool to me.
It was
Mark
so
was
crazy
trying to do Fast Times at Richmond High. It was like that was his his pitch.
He thought it was like American Pie or whatever. And,
I remember
and it wasn't
funny.
Out. It was just insane.
The marketing for that book was super weird too, because it was like a bunch of pictures of sexy girls. And
you found them sexy?
Well, I was like,
wow.
What? Like, when was this?
Wow.
When was
I found them 15 years old.
Oh, to be clear, I think I was 12 when this book was coming out. So, like,
Interesting.
Fair.
Can we get an optics check?
Age appropriate.
Check his hard drive.
I want to make it clear, I've only ever looked at 3-year-olds and up, no matter my age.
The moment
Get this motherfucker.
The moment Ruben hit puberty, he was given a folder of MILF porn, and that was it.
No, but so anyways, the funniest part about that was the editor that I was working with at the time was the editor on that book. So I hit him up like, hey, do you know anything about Trouble? And he goes, oh my God, what? Yeah. And so I was like,
he starts sweating nervously.
Oh, he loved it. He loved that. My editor at the time.
Hold on. Yeah, your editor at the time. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Is it who I think it is?
Who do you think it is?
Oh man.
I don't know hold on. If he didn't dip into that end of the pool yet, he would have been putting out stuff. Never mind. Disregard.
I still put two things on the record. A, I was 13 when this book came out. B, I'm looking at it now, and oh boy.
It's different when you're like older.
Hold on.
It's different. It's different when you're Mark Miller's age when he.
It's problematic, folks.
Put that out. Because Mark Miller was still an adult when he's like, yeah, let's get those wee lasses.
Yeah, that is not.
Whoa!
That is like,
no, dude.
You could not swing that these days. I understand that this was the era of like Paris Hilton and Nicole, what's her name, and like all that shit, being out like in the public eye. But this is like, oh my God, this is some Epstein Island shit.
They were trying to make something happen.
Yeah,
and I respect that.
They were going hard. They were going very hard.
They knew the demographic they wanted.
Yeah. No, so like beyond just talking about comics that were like Civil War, like a big one. Yeah. We wanted to also do like the weird shit, which is also why you guys came on to do Rush Limbaugh Must Die.
Yeah. Which I appreciate. There's so much shit that I remember just from like Wizard magazines and shit like that no one will remember unless like it is talked about like by stuff people like us. Like
so doing like 3 hours about that is to me more exciting than being like, so the new releases we got this week, we got the Dark Civil War.
Right. No, 100%.
Yep. Dark Civil War.
There's very little worth talking about in big two superhero comics right now anyway. Like
I think it's
some people are making good stuff, but
I think if like
it's just
if you're a reader or listener, I think comic books from the outside looking in are sort of off-putting because they're sort of like IP factories right now. Whether or not you've ever touched a comic, like right now, whatever's happening in comics is meant to be fed into a sort of ground beef hopper, and then that's going to be put into the streaming series, or that's what's going to be put into the film. Like, whether it's DC, whether it's Marvel.
I have a good one for this, Michelle.
Yeah.
All right. Literally on Twitter today, someone put this screenshot in a Discord.
Okay.
This person on Twitter is replying to the Marvel comic book Twitter account, which is just at Marvel. I'm confused. I thought y'all were announcing more movies today. And then someone replies to them going, there can't be MCU without Marvel Comics. It's like most animated that need a manga type relationship.
And I mean, here's the thing. We can maybe if that's frustrating, or you could put your nose up at it. Like
that's the problem is that they're right.
The fucking insipid simp is correct.
Yeah.
That's where the marching orders happen.
I don't know. I just don't give a shit about like that idea of like, oh yeah, they're just making it for this. Like everybody that works at any job is just making some dumb shit for some.
For
you know
sure,
what I mean?
100%.
Like what's sad is that there used to be a lot of comics that had something to say that they would that they would get in there and like we like on our show when we do it we like to examine what that might be and now the thing that I have about mainstream comics is that they may say less than the movies do. Like when we do an episode about the movies, at least there's like weird, like with the Wonder Woman movie, there's like weird anti-socialist stuff in there that we could talk about.
It's still tied to the world as it exists.
Most comic books, they just talk about moving action figures and like kind of making new action figures, like new colors of the superheroes. And I don't give a shit about that. Like I want them to like say something about the context of the world that they're being made in. Most of them don't. That sucks. And that's more of the problem with it than the fact that they are part of like the mill to make these MCU movies like that. I don't care about.
I mean, they've always been, right? Like even back in the 70s and so on, like there was Spider-Man merchandise. It's not like that didn't exist. Like
it's always been a product.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes they used to have good spices in the product.
I agree. And I think part of it has to do with, and I don't know, this isn't like a fully formed theory, but it feels like the more mainstream all of it has gotten, superheroes have gotten I don't know, like I feel like a lot of the cool stuff you were talking about, Ramon, maybe not 100%, but some of that stuff got made because people didn't care about superhero comics as much. And so like they could just do whatever, they could tell those kinds of stories to some degree.
A big product of it to me is this, like they're at a certain point, people that wanted to do stuff that is personal to them in comics, they can do that and create their own book. And then they're withholding stuff from the big two, which is like perfectly valid. I understand why somebody would do that, because why would you sell them something that you could make money on yourself, especially if it's personal, right?
Right.
But the style of the big two books, like Marvel and DC specifically, they got so influenced by like when Jeff Johns was like a big writer, then he moved on to like the TV side of it and the movie side of it. He wanted to be racist over there instead.
Yeah.
But when he started making comics, they became so devoid of like a political bent. Like it was specifically like stories specifically designed to like boost nostalgic feelings that people had towards old comics.
Totally. And I remember this. I was an active comics buyer at the time. Like I felt that shift in my guts, in my little comic book guts.
Yeah, but that widescreen comic format, that like it was basically what Mark Millar was doing.
Yep.
Stripped away of all the Mark Millar stuff. It's just widescreen formats comic books, but with no point. And as much as Mark Millar is a freak, and he is, I think at least when he was making those, you would get weird shit like, is this A on my headstand for France or whatever? Like,
all that
shit was cool as hell.
Hulk, Freddie Prinze Jr. Like that shit was nuts.
He makes a point to actually like
Hulk's not gay.
Well, he does. When he did interviews after a lot of that stuff, he was kind of like talking about mostly being a social liberal, but on like issues of policy, he's like a pro-death penalty guy.
Yeah, he's an absolute psycho.
And if you've ever read any of his like post-Marvel shit, and actually a little bit before, if you think of something that will never happen again, like the Unfunnies, either of you partaken of that one?
No, we're gonna do that, I think, at some point, but then we took this hiatus, but that was gonna be.
It is.
We wanted to do more Millar because he has such an interesting mind.
He got like a Keith Giffen cover. It's like it is one of the most crackhead books ever. It's like it's bordering on 4chan wrote this, like relative to its time. But yeah, Miller's views on abortion. Every time magic exists in a comic after his big two stuff for a while, his creator-owned stuff, he has to work in some sort of weird ass situation in which someone is forced to carry a baby to term, or magic is used for someone to get out of their own abortion and for them to reform as a fully formed adult. Shit like that. Like, it comes from a very diseased and stupid mind, but it's not like an algorithmic mind.
That's exactly.
I really hate saying this, but I think after seeing like another group of people get laid off again where their regular work, like, did you guys see that Mel magazine like folded again?
What magazine?
There it is. So Mel was a big outlet for like a lot of gender non-conforming people to write at. Absolutely folded after they were making listicles for X amount of time. I think of this when I think of comics now, and I think of like everyone that was doing creator-owned work that was like queer-centered or whatever, and now they're basically sort of fucking resigned to putting out shit at the DC mill or this or that, when they made comparatively a little bit more money making their own shit and doing that. And it seems like very debased and fucked up because the output is from like really bad writing teams. It's like you're gonna fucking queer existing like 80-year-old characters that just might actually become like a public domain soon. It's mind-boggling. Like, the whole thing is depressing if you look at it. Not lingering on it, but you'd figure everyone would want to put that energy into like something people are going to remember, and it's very disposable. Well, so I feel you on that.
I mean, as far as that goes, like, and just to bring it back to the guests at hand, like Daniel and Ramon, like where have you two been in your careers as far as finding work, but via either through independent methods or through the big two, so to speak? Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, talking about like Michelle's point about I guess the current state of comics versus the previous state, I feel like my frustration is that I barely get to read the new stuff. A lot of it is not like attractive to me, but I'm very aware of the people who are making the new stuff, and whenever it gets shared, you never really see. Maybe like I follow some people who like new comics, and I try to like be sympathetic to that, but I can't help but see the synergy, the corporate synergy between these characters, and what ends up getting put out is just too brazen. It's too bold. Like I guess the point that where my comic experience or comics reading experience cut off was when the big MCU exploded.
Yeah.
So
I can sort of, I can basically agree with every word you said right there from a personal standpoint. Like, I grew up, reading comic books as a hobby and liking superheroes as a hobby, sort of past a kid who watched the Batman cartoon and got fucking Batman pilled at that point in my life. And I think what Ramon said about, this shift from the guy Jeff Johns, and he's not the only one, but he certainly was a big champion of like bringing back older characters that were like considered dead in the superhero terms, which is pretty meaningless and so to speak. But as far as like what was happening in DC Comics at the time, there was a lot of decisions to just go, this new stuff's gone and the old guys are back and we don't really care anymore about the new stuff. Shout outs Kyle Rayner being a big example of like them bringing back the old white Hal Jordan. That's probably the most like the primary example, but they did the same thing with Flash characters as well and other types of superheroes. They just started going, and it tracks with the growth of an audience almost, right? Like, oh, these guys who are getting older who liked Barry Allen and Hal Jordan and all these old dudes let's rope them back in, which is a weird attitude when, I'm I was like the literal teenager buying comic books, getting alienated by those types of sales pitches and just being like, I don't like that at all. I liked the older stuff. And it's, I do feel like I don't think there's a million people like me, but I'm certainly some example of a market that they lost, right? Like I just stopped buying shit. Like,
and I feel like we're at the tail end of the 18 to 34. And as soon as we're out, we're out.
I think there's a lot of appeal to get people that were like our age to read stuff again, or like, there's also a lot of people our age that are starting to like be able to do that kind of stuff where they make what they want over there. And I think at this point though, it's like, to Marvel and DC's credit both, like you said, they will hire people who are like represent a gay point of view or a whatever point, like they're trying to fill those boxes, but
there are
all those comics that I feel like they want that, but then what they don't want is like a harder edge to those stories. They want them to be nice and happy, and isn't this great that we're here now, like,
and you have to be thankful, and you have to love the product.
Do you guys remember this is a funny thing to bring up. I can't believe that this is like already swept under the rug. They were going to try to launch like a new queer Marvel super team, but all of the characters were like extremely stereotyped to a point that it looked almost problematic.
Well, Snowflake was one of them.
Snowflake.
Like that shit is something.
What were they? What was the team?
Oh my
like
god, I gotta look this
Warriors
up.
Or
I'm gonna
Thomas
figure this out.
Finland. They had them all.
Okay, it was supposed to be a redo of the New Warriors. So the New Warriors being an existing property, and I guess they had a comic book ready to go where the old New Warriors were going to teach new heroes, the names of which I will read off right now. Cool. One was named Screen Time. One was named one setup was a duo, a twin, like a Wonder Twins type, if you will, named Snowflake and Safe Space.
Incest.
A vampire. A vampire named B Negative.
Fuck you.
Oh my god, dude.
And
wow.
Just a regular girl named Trailblazer.
Does she like look like she's? Do you have a picture? Does she look like she hikes?
Is she regular or was she like regular?
She is. Society would consider her plus sized.
Oh, okay.
Is she in hiking attire?
No, she's got a backpack. So yes.
All right, yeah.
So yes.
My special ability is to kill someone on a trail. I'll leave him on there. It's an Appalachian trail.
My point is the press from that was so bad that it never even came out, and I feels like
came out.
That's what you reminded me of. Yeah, I don't think it ever actually came out. I'm pretty sure the whole book got shit canned. Like
in a perfect world, you would do what people have done in the past, and everyone thinks of or they don't think now because like everything is so cynical and it's about lowered expectations and like responding to the moment within seconds of something happening on its terms. It's an incredibly cynical world. It's one of the worst outcomes of social media in that people hedge their bets too early. I'm not saying that's not a defense of this hilarious idea, but like an ideal world where Big Two, like, it wouldn't just be simply, LGBTQ issues or whatever. It could be race, like those 70s and 80s comics, as ham-handed and as shitty as they were, peaking at 90s response to social issues, the HIV crisis specifically, North Star, Jesus Christ. Like the will doesn't exist anymore. They are basically the stewards of IP at this point. Here's how this interpretation will be. If you truly cared about a lot of this shit, you would let people create new characters and create like whole new teams and things like you do in Big Two comics, like have cities, new places, settings, etc.
Well,
because then a view of the world can be cultivated and it could be skewed differently because it could be an analog to this or that. Or in Marvel's case, you could do a comic largely set in the South. No, like everyone would buy a fucking comic where a superhero team was like in fucking Appalachia or something in Marvel Comics. They'd love that shit. They'd eat it up. But it won't happen in this world. It's dog shit.
Yeah, and I put a lot of effort into not outwardly being a reactionary to the new Marvel content.
Sure.
Like, it's really easy to get lumped into like terrible Comicsgate people once you enter into that mindset, or once you like post
we should all
complaints.
do video. Not now, but have you ever seen one of those? I always see them in thumbnails, but it's like two like vaguely look like adult guys in one of those like Zoom calls or whatever their stream chats are, and like one fucking, I'm sorry, like at least a minimum one pedophile looking guy in a Batman mask or a Captain America mask. It's pervert shit. I'm sorry. Those streams always
I can
look
imagine.
bad.
It's a bunch of freaks.
Yeah.
So I I have those creators have my sympathies. Like, I want to assume that the corporations just would never let them do what Ramon was saying. They would never let them do anything with bite, anything with edge.
Well, you know, I'm pretty fortunate that when I did do Marvel and DC stuff, for the most part, the bigger books that I had done they all did have a point of view, and they all did, like, I always was lucky enough to tap into the vein, probably because my art is, you know, not the standard, you know, the standard house style shit.
Right.
So weirder writers would want me, or weirder editors would want me from weirder stuff. And I think the editors at both the companies, they genuinely want to make good stuff. And I think that the writers and the artists, everybody genuinely wants to make good stuff. But I think if you're somebody who's given the opportunity to do a story about like a Puerto Rican character, you know, which Marvel has tons of,
right,
you're going to be so excited about the representation that you're going to try and do something that's very passive and not something that's going to be confrontational.
Sure.
And I think it's all just built into the system. And, you know, like, so I did a book called Nighthawk that was, you know, sort of Batman if he was black, and you know, in Southside Chicago. So we were able to do some interesting stuff in there. And we were able to make it violent, and, you know, but there was always this like, so in the first issue, this was like in 2015, 2014.
I was just gonna ask, like, about when was this? Yeah,
it was like 2015, 2014. The first issue, it opens up with him beating up some white supremacists. So I had them
some sick pages. Yeah,
I had them wearing like a shirt that said like "Make America Great Again," because like the MAGA hat like wasn't even a thing.
Sure.
Like, they would have a shirt that says the dumb thing that he says, you know.
Yeah.
And like, so and then one of the guys getting kicked in the face is like, "Don't tread on me." So I had like stuff in there like that. And the legal team, that's the big problem. The legal team will come in and say, well, that could offend somebody. And I'm like, oh, good. Like, you know, but the editors were down with it. The writer was down with it. I was down with it. The colorist, Tamara was down. Like, everybody was ready to, you know, not give a fuck, put out something, even like the head editor, but it's the legal team, because ultimately it's Disney, it's Warner Brothers, Discovery, whatever the fuck.
It's a significant thing to think about. You know, it's like, I didn't even really put it into that context until you brought this. Like, Marvel was like, a lot of these comics weren't owned by larger corporations for a while, you know, in relative terms, in historical speaking terms.
DC
Disney
longer than
Marvel, certainly DC longer than Marvel with Warner Brothers, but it's crazy to think Marvel only recently, you know, like what, 2008 or 9 or some shit like that.
It was I remember very clearly when Thor came out. It was a transition from like Thor to Captain America, the first Avenger. Those were the first 2 films that came out as like under Disney.
Oh, they were Paramount. Yeah, the first ones were Paramount. because it was like Marvel's their own thing. They were going to be the end, but they had not gotten bought out.
They sold their soul. They put all their money into creating the demon.
Those first 4 movies, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like even the checks that I would get, they had Spider-Man on them for a while, and then eventually it became Mickey Mouse.
That's really funny.
That's an incredible metaphor.
The mouse comes for us all.
But yeah, you know, like I just don't want to bash on the whole system too much, because like I said, ultimately it's a job. And I don't want to. I wouldn't go like to McDonald's and be like, "You fucking idiot! Why don't you put your heart into that fucking hamburger?"
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think you make a really great
getting
point.
Paid incredibly, especially on like where I was at. You know,
right?
So like, I don't want to be like,
and that
I don't want to trash the system like nonstop. I would trash the people that can do stuff and choose not to.
Right.
I don't either. I want to get work. I want to get jobs.
It's not about getting work. I get work regardless. I'm very talented. But I don't think it's cool to, like, you know, if you're gonna have worker solidarity, you have to have worker solidarity. You can't
100%.
Can't pick and choose because you want to be entertained by something that you get to be like, now I'm going to look down on the people making it. Like that's
like I said, lame. I'm not like reading these books to like demand from these companies to make more of what I want. I'm not reading them. I'm not the customer.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean that's fair.
And now, you know, the company that I work for now, Bad Idea, you know, they operate completely different than Marvel and DC. It's like a night and day thing where like I'm working on stuff and they're just like, go nuts, do whatever you want, take as long as you want. They pay me more than them by like a lot. And it's, you know, because they value ultimately, as long as I make a good comic, then they're going to look better at the end of the day. So,
right.
So it's, you know, I'm very blessed that I found myself in a situation where I can do that.
It should be noted that's like a small business. I'm assuming that there's not like a quote unquote legal team the way there would be at like a Disney owned business, right? Like,
yeah, but Bad Idea is so crazy. Like, you know, I will get them bad press. I've in the past gotten them bad press and they loved it because
I was looking over the Insta video like early.
What Insta video?
There's a bleeding cool article by everyone's favorite comics journalist, Rich Johnson.
Yeah.
The king of comics, they call him. Oh God. Anyway.
Yeah. When Bad Idea first posted like art of mine, they added me in it, and I told my editor, like, I'm gonna say that I didn't draw that. And he's like, okay, like, why? Like they were like, I don't see what the point of that is. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. So then I posted that, and then I put in a video like, yo, I don't know what is going on. I'm not working for them. This is like so fucked up. And then people got so mad on my behalf.
When it's clearly like you look at those pages and it's 100% Ramon art.
Ramon,
I'm clearly lying.
This is why they gave you the GLAAD award. You're doing what gay people love. You're lying over and over.
Yeah.
That's true allyship.
So I just kept making these videos that were like more and more like, I don't know what's going on. And yeah, then the best part though were people that were like, I can't believe that they would exploit a marginalized creator's name.
My fucking God. Holy awesome. Shit.
But yeah, no, like I love working for this company, and like, you know, you were at, you know, this is around a while back, you had asked about like, you know, what like our experiences are now. My experience now is like, I'm trying to write stuff that way I can get my point of view out there. So I'm working on projects that I would be writing, not the one I'm currently drawing, but everything after that. Like the goal is to do more stuff that I write. And like, even if it is an IP farm thing, an IP farm that expresses my point of view with good politics, but that's in there. It doesn't have to be explicit. It doesn't have to be preachy. It doesn't have to be any of that shit, but it should say something. And I mean, I'm very fortunate to be in a position now where I can do that. And part of that was like, you know, when my editor would listen to my podcast, he would go, oh, like it's not like I'm just saying shit just to say it. Like I've thought it out, you know?
Yeah, Ramon's a really good writer. If anybody's ever seen his movie reviews.
My incredible letterboxd. It's my new passion.
Oh, shout outs. Let's go. Plug the letterbox.
I'm a visual learner. I prefer the old Woodstock 99s to anything, honestly. Yeah. So, I mean, bad idea. Their business model has been basically the talk of, as you said, a lot of people, I guess, who are comics professionals, like, apparently it's like very limited runs of shit that sort of...
No, the runs aren't limited. The runs go on forever.
Okay.
And what it is they're like every other comic of these comic book companies, like an AWA or whatever. And I don't want to sound like I'm like just simping for Bad Idea because they pay me or whatever. It's just genuinely, I find it interesting the way that they have subverted what they do. And it's no different than one of these other companies like an AWA or an Aftershock or Boom or IDW, a smaller company. But they, instead of going, oh, we're a small company, so we have limitations to how many stores we, like, you know, all these other companies want everybody to read their books, as many people as they can. And if they fall short of high sales numbers, then that's a loss they're taking. But Bad Ideas approaches, let's make it so that we only sell, like, it's not that we are selling low, it's that we're exclusive. So stores that sell Bad Idea, they have to follow like a very specific set of guidelines. And at first the stores thought that they were kidding, and then stores got banned from being able to sell the books.
Oh, I did see some press about that or something.
Yeah, because it was basically like you can only sell one copy of each book to a customer, and you can only sell, there's no variants. There's no, to be a store, you have to sell the same amount of the first issue as the last issue. You can't get like 30 of the first one, and if the sales dip, you get like 5 of the last one. No, if you get 30 of the first one, you get 30 of the last one. You put in the whole order at the front end of it. And you know that because they value the comics, it's not just content, it's not just like a thing that you're throwing away. The books, they look good, they use the highest paper stock they can get, they use, you know, the highest cover stock, you know, like they have spot gloss, they really make a point of like, this is a product that we're making that is a comic book. It is not a vessel for a bullshit story. So they put more emphasis on making a good thing, and to sell it, they're like looked at like Supreme or sneaker releases or whatever. And, you know, Nike, if they wanted to, they could make hundreds of, you know, whatever shoe, or like, sorry, thousands of the shoe. But if they make hundreds, and those hundreds are more valuable.
Sure.
So that's what they do. They go, we're only making this, you know, not a limited amount of the stores could order them. So you have to go to that store, but they're permanently in print. Like you could get whatever comics, from what I understand, when they're running, you can get those comics as much as you want, but you have to get 1 through 4. You have to get, you know, whatever the fuck it is. But it's a different business model.
Okay. So trades not in the cards for those guys.
That's their thing, is
it sounds
it's
like
not about
do the books that they put out already like sit on the shelf real nice if they're very premium?
Well, that's the other thing, is you have to have them up front, like by the register. There's a set of guidelines that the stores have to follow, and the stores that want to sell them, they're going to do it because they want to sell them. And when this company started, it was basically all the people, like Valiant had a hostile takeover from somebody who wanted to use Valiant as an IP farm. And the guy who had been running it, this dude named Dinesh, he just liked Valiant comics. He just likes comics in general. So he got ousted. He didn't want to, but got ousted.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, fuck it, I'll just make my own new thing. And so he took with him the editor-in-chief, who's my former editor, their sales guy. He took with him a bunch of people that had made Valiant worthy enough to be taken over by like an IP farm guy.
He took all the Valiant talent.
Yeah, and they got a lot of the creators from the Valiant days that trusted those guys, and then they got people like me who were like people that my editor has said is like, if he was doing like a fantasy, baseball, like he wants the guys that they know that they could trust, but then he also wants somebody like me who's like sort of more outside the box that'll do stuff that'll like raise their interest. But I'm like you look at
you're the wild
money
card.
I'm in Moneyball, I'm like one of the guys who like gets on base or whatever. Like that's the idea. But and they have investors the same way that those other people do, like the IP farm companies. It's all subject to the same capitalist system. They're not perfect, but they're trying to be better than the other companies by using their limitations as advantages. And I think that's smarter.
Yeah. I it's definitely as someone who really doesn't have any like vested interest in it, like what you described is pretty intriguing to me, I gotta say. Like
so like the cover that I'm working on a cover now. I just finished one the other day, and like they just said, whatever you want to do it. Like, I sent them this like limited color palette thing and like some sketches like a while back, and they were like, however you want to do the trade, I mean the logo and everything, that's what we're going to do, because they trust my vision as an artist, which would never happen at Marvel or DC. Right. I don't care who the fuck you are. Like, there are limitations to what they're going to allow you to do. And, I'm not a comics like auteur or whatever, but they're treating me like that, which is respectable. And I like it. It feels good to be valued like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty unique experience in the field of comics. I don't know if I wanted to bring it all the way back to, Daniel talking about IDW. Yeah.
Daniel's been working on this book called Holy West.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. I don't want to just crib off whatever like you said, but Seth had created an opportunity for me, because it's like it's a Kickstarter book. It's not under any publisher. Like that's where I have mostly worked. Like aside from Judge Dredd, aside from a smaller comic that I did for Lion Forge, that was Cloudy and Rex.
You want to know something? I bought that comic before I
have Cloudy and Rex?
I dead ass have 3 issues of Cloudy and Rex. And I bought it because I thought it looked good. I didn't really know the story at all. I was just
that is what matters to me. Like, part of the reason that I haven't been able to maybe flourish in like the broader comics market is whenever somebody else colors my work, it looks like ass. I don't like it. Like respect and everything to the people who have colored my work. I'm never like satisfied with it when that happens. But Cloudy and Rex was an opportunity to do that.
I gotta say, it's a darn good looking book. Biased now.
Does it look a little fried? Do the colors look a little bit too hot?
Oof! I want to go dig it up. That would take too much time. I will say, I mean, like when I think of that book, the colors that come to mind for me are like the sort of like oranges and reds and the various like sunset type hues.
Yeah, no, it's just that some Holy West art. Some people were sharing Holy West art, and Ramon thought that it was a little fried. Could have used a little bit of editing.
Oh damn! I'll post some scans for Ramon's approval later, just to get the eyes on that.
But the work with Seth Jacob, he's been an indie writer who has been like trying to get more attention, and I think he eventually will. But with this project, he was like, I was willing to work with him if I could if I had that space to work every aspect of it. Like I even lettered these books.
That rules.
I lettered Claudia and Rex as well.
Nice. Okay.
And it's taken forever. Like Holy West was a Kickstarter that got funded in like 2020, and now is when the issues are finally coming out. That's not going to be the case with the second book. it's going to come out much closer to when it gets funded. But it's not the same as like say Ramon's like bad idea situation, but I think there's some similarities. Like Seth wants to create a boutique publisher of specifically the books that he's interested in creating, and I'm like, not to hype him up or anything, but well, I mean, he's putting my book out, so I'm definitely like,
damn, the dick writing is crazy.
Yo.
Yeah, no, but he's actually been incredibly supportive of the process in a way that I don't think I would have in other like mainstream publishers.
I will say I know Seth. I've known him for a long time, and he is really good about all that stuff. That was the other like real funny thing about it is I think when I first met Daniel, I didn't know you were even working on Holy West. I had missed it completely somehow. And then we were talking about, wait, you're working with Seth Jacob? Oh, cool. I know Seth. I was supposed to work with him on like a Kickstarter book before I started working at Marvel and DC, and I was like maybe halfway done with it, and then it kind of just like I was like, oh, I'll be right back. I have to take this job, and then I never came back.
Which is 100% the move. Like, I do not blame you. Once you get that call from like Marvel, you're like,
no. And Seth knows, like, if he ever needs me for anything, like, I'll help him out. Like,
yeah, he has an IOU.
Whatever it is, like, because I feel like I do owe him a lot for not being mad at me. but it's, I also know that back then he was like, take your time, do whatever you gotta do, make it look great, like, so, it's what I like is that the company that I'm with now is they have the mentality of like someone like, these Kickstarter people. Like my first book was a book I did called LP. Well, my first like real book. I used to do like little mini things, but my first, book that was like drawn on 11 by 17, like I colored it, I penciled, inked it, I did the cover, did the design for it. I didn't letter it because I didn't have InDesign, but I did like everything else. And I was like, okay, yeah, I have to be able to be in total control. Otherwise, like Daniel said, it looked like shit. But then I found out you could let other people do other things.
No, you've been fortunate to find those people who you can trust.
Not fortunate. I have I've worked very hard to find the people that I could trust.
Yeah, I have not. And
not everybody's as enigmatic as me, as not everybody brings people together the way I do. Honestly, like not everybody has this like engaging personality that is.
Ramon is the glue.
Yeah,
that's right.
There's a lot of dead bodies behind the trusted people that Ramon has assembled.
Ruben, I have a question. What's your deal, bro?
Pop quiz, Ramon and Daniel. Overriding a question. What's your favorite glue? Go. Crazy glue. Yeah. Okay. Wait. What kind? What's viscosity?
It has to be fresh.
Want a flow or a gel?
Once you like pop it with the needle.
Yeah.
I'm talking crazy with the K brand glue.
K-razy.
Yeah.
It's like a mid viscosity, so not like a hard, like a gel, like a toothpaste gel, or not liquid.
But what is your deal though, Ruben?
Yeah, what's your what do you do? What is your bit?
Ramon. Favorite glue. Don't dodge the question. You tell me your favorite glue, Ramon.
I don't fuck with glue. I use rubber cement, dude. I'm old school.
Ooh, I like that actually.
That's a good
plastic
answer.
Nails.
Good ass smell.
Yeah.
I don't have a deal. I explicitly don't do things. I go to.
I'm just asking because Michelle was so excited for us to interact.
I recently
we didn't even interact.
I recently used a power washer at work. That was pretty good.
I had a good time with that. I'm not gonna lie. I think Michelle's biggest excitement is from the fact that, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say biggest, but I do think she wanted to architect this so that I was the only white boy in the room.
Oh,
I mean, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
You're officially a down ass white boy.
Hell yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, Ruben's
I
a friend
thought
of
that-
Michelle and I's who's just been around for a very long time. And we
Like
brought
15
him in.
years, I think now.
He's
15 years.
the least audible host of the podcast, but a spirit that we love to have in the room regardless.
I see.
Correct.
Beyond that, I'll just ask Michelle to sell Ruben. Michelle, sell Ruben.
Well, no, I don't mean to. Yeah, I guess put Michelle on the tough spot. I was just curious because she was so excited.
Michelle, why'd you bring me onto this show?
And
It was
the
an errant wild hair up my ass. It
what
wasn't
was
like
the drama supposed to be, though?
She knows two cool Mexican dudes whose names start with R.
No,
Or
Same number of
Mexican
letters. Yeah,
I
I'm
wasn't
hyper
sure if it was Cuban or Puerto Rican or something.
Mexican, Puerto Rican, 50-50
No.
split, second
50-50.
generation.
Oh,
Whoa.
holy
Wow.
what?
Wait, so
What?
you represent the middle point between Ramon
Yeah.
and Daniel.
Or
Gradient.
second and first generation on both sides.
Wait,
Whoa.
second and first.
Oh yeah, which is
What's
first
that
and
math
which
like?
is
What's that
second?
math about?
Where did your parents
So
meet?
Mexican is mother didn't jump the fence, got like a 2-week incursion program that they stole from their sister to come to America, then grabbed a guy that came out of boot camp, my dad, and then got
That's
a
the
green
Puerto
card.
Rican?
And my dad's Puerto Rican, and my grandma of dad got off the boat of Puerto Rico to America and then had him
Wow.
on the soil to get citizenship.
Puerto
So-
Ricans love going to like military and working for border patrol and shit, and they're such sellouts.
So that's the other reason I love Daniel is he's on the island. Because like if he was a
Peace
New
and love,
Yorker,
peace and
I
love, by
would
the
not
way.
be able to be friends with him. Like honestly, if I'm being 100% real.
If
Yeah,
Puerto Ricans
it's-
are just
it's
like
the
an
thing about
annoying, it's
Puerto
one of the most
Ricans in the
annoying people of all
States.
time.
All right,
Hey,
Ramon.
Yeah, they're
call
not
it-
great.
did
They're
you
not
call
All
great.
right, Ramon, cards on the table. You want to know why I want this interaction to happen? Great.
Yeah, I thought Michelle wanted us to do like some like Latinx phrenology.
Yeah. I
Weakest
wanted,
Latinos, go.
Listen,
Far be it-
Daniel.
Listen,
Listen,
far be
Daniel.
it- yeah, I'm not
I
going to stop
didn't want to say skull racism, but since you said skull racism, probably a smidge of skull racism.
I came up with the term for Latino phrenology, which is freehology.
that.
Remember, I just remember one time I told Daniel that all Puerto Ricans look like they have like a bug skull, like because they got bugged out eyes and shit. Like I
We
can
all
spot
have
a
like
Puerto
black
Rican,
eyes.
Jesus.
you know. No offense, peace and love.
Peace of love. Lin-Manuel Miranda looks like a bug.
Like a mosquito.
It does.
I mean, it
Well,
makes
where did
the-
your
it
parents
makes the
meet, though,
li-
for real?
What's that?
Where did your parents meet?
I just told you.
No, I didn't hear.
Pop quiz. Everyone remember what I just said.
What did you say?
Puerto
But, like,
Rican.
what state?
Puerto
What
Rican
state?
dad.
Like, yeah, where at specifically?
California? California.
Oh, okay. That's what's
Okay,
up.
so that's a little bit more Mexican.
You doing a Phantom Planet?
What the fuck did you say to me, Ramon?
I thought you were doing California, like the opening of the OC.
Oh, I was, but
That's
that's all I
Phantom
know
Planet.
about the OC. Nope, don't know who did it. Don't know who's
That's
on
it.
the show.
Phantom. What?
My cousin lived in the OC, and that's it. That's all I know about the OC, and that they played 2 songs on the OC.
It's incredible, Ruben. You need to watch it. It's one of the best television programs of all time.
Dude, I
That's
fuck
not
with the
possible.
OC.
That's
No,
not possible. If we have Burn Notice and Monk, how the fuck is it anywhere near as good as the?
I love teen dramas, and I used to be self-conscious about it.
I
know,
want to
no,
go
yeah.
back.
Ramon
Say it
was
with
a
the chest.
Dawson's Creek head.
But I
I'm a big
wasn't.
freak head.
It's not that I wasn't allowed to watch the OC. It's that my sister watched it, and I would get kicked out of the room if I tried to watch it with her. So
That was
I
her
just
like Joshua Jackson time.
yeah, it was like hey, you just don't say
No, the
annoying
OC
things to the
is-
TV.
You're
The OC
intruding.
is not Joshua Jackson.
Oh no, I was talking about Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, but he was talking about the OC.
We were talking about the OC at the time,
But-
Daniel.
You know what?
I
It's the
fucked up.
Joshua Jackson at the time, right? Like it was
I
a
fucked
decade.
up.
Ben
decade later.
McKenzie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who's like a legend now, right?
Who's-
He's like super anti-NFT and shit. That's what's up.
I think he
That is-
he
that is
stopped
what's up.
he stopped playing Commissioner Gordon on the television show Gotham. And then I think he hasn't acted a lot since and did some big anti-NFT thing because he just, I guess,
disgusted by it.
He's been writing on the subject for a minute, which is I didn't fucking know that.
I don't know. I forget the story. I don't know if he went back to school or if like he had an economy degree or whatever, but he was like, "Oh, this is bullshit," and then started trying to use his limited clout to tell people about that.
He's
hopefully
an absolute
all the OC fans are like very anti-NFT. If that's if his work, you know, like if he could reach anybody.
I've always considered myself like, you know, when I was a younger, like I didn't watch the OC when it came on, but if I would have, I would have been like, oh, that's me.
Oh, hell
I'm
yeah.
from the wrong side of the tracks. I'm like from wherever that guy, I forgot what it was from, but that's where I would be from.
It's from Staten Island.
I almost got a leather cuff when I was in high school for real at Hot Topic. And then I thought this will be too sweaty.
That's the big problem with all the black.
Yeah.
I have to imagine those big chain pants were like mad sweaty back in the day. The ones with all of the parachute pants. With
that shit was like straight canvas with fucking metal on it.
Wait, how old are, I know how old Daniel is, but how old are the rest of you?
I am 31.
I'm turning 34 next month.
Okay. So I just turned 35. So like all that shit was coming out, I was like loving that shit. Like I didn't have the big pants because that was ridiculous. But I had like, you know, I had bigger pants.
I wanted the big pants, and I had a mom who was like, fucking no, hell no.
I was wearing FUBUs.
I was wearing Dickies. I was really big in the Dickies.
I was big into the Dickies.
The Dickies
that's what Deftones wore.
The Dickies fucking Vulcans are the best shoes ever fucking made.
Whoa, I didn't even know Dickies. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know Dickies made shoes. That's crazy, dude.
They had fucking
Dickies,
like
you're putting me onto
tire
some new
tread
shit
on
right
them.
now. I didn't know I was going to get put onto new Dickies shit.
Is this a California thing?
Dickies shoes are basically like the prelude to Tim's. Right? Are you talking about that?
That can't be right.
Are you talking about the?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think this is right.
Which Dickies shoe model are you talking about, Ruben?
Timberland's
are you talking
I'm
about
pretty sure it's called the Vulcan. Let me take a look.
Is it the factory shoe? What is it?
It's not a factory shoe. It's effectively it's like a non-slip van they made, and it had just fucking like rubber spikes on the bottom of it. Let me see it. Yep, it's called the Dickies Vulcan. Let me get you a grip out of it.
Yeah,
shoe.
throw it in chat.
What's going on Ramon's next cover?
All right, hold on. Let's go.
They're fucking incredible. The spikes are gone. If you're fat in 2 weeks, you wear that shit out instantly. But they're fucking sick.
Ruben,
they're good.
Ruben, you wore this as a young person?
I wore this to the ground. I saw the holes through the soles of these motherfuckers.
Did you wear a shirt that said like "World's Sexiest Grandpa"?
No, I had a Dickies shirt. I had a Dickies work shirt.
An FBI shirt that said "female body inspector."
I had a black button-up Dickies work shirt with 2 buttons on it. The starchiest cotton.
Oh my god!
I wore that shit.
Pants.
I either did the top button only or the bottom 3.
Ooh. And then I would wear Dickies and then like a Slipknot shirt or like, you know, I had like 7 Slipknot shirts.
Was your hair very crispy at that time?
No, I never combed my hair. My mom would always get pissed off. And then I got a mohawk in the middle of high school, but like a Travis Bickle mohawk. Like it was short, it was wide, and it was real like I did time in Vietnam. No, but these shoes are hard as fuck. Honestly, I'm like, what
fucking sick. They're $20 and they're fucking sick as hell.
They're hard as hell.
If one good thing came out of this episode today, we alerted Ramon to the existence.
Shoes.
I
want to credit. Like, if I see that shit, if I see a Vulcan drawn in the next 10 years, I want to fuck it.
And you know what's crazy too is for the longest time, like I was wearing Dickies, but I was so self-conscious because it said Dickies on it. I'm like, that's kind of sus.
I think it's a dick. Yeah.
Can't I get Ben Davis or something?
I went the other way. I kind of dove into it, but like because me and my friends, like some people usually just have shorts, and I was head to toe Dickies, so it's just the undershirt, the fucking work shirt, the pants.
I feel like those Dickies would go really good with a whole cholo outfit.
It was incredibly. Like I had a diet cholo outfit.
That's it.
I didn't wear a bandana, but like if I stop wearing my belt so tight, that's 100% a cholo outfit. I fucking love wearing belts that way as a kid. I slept with my belt on.
You grew up in California?
Yeah.
Where in California?
Southern California, Palmdale.
Okay. I grew up in Stockton. Well, Manteca, Stockton. Yeah. I was just curious.
They keep it stocked up over there.
There's a big, there's a big
Is
crossover.
there like a north-south California beef?
Yeah, NorCal, SoCal.
That's 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, NorCal's need to shut the fuck up. They talk too fast.
NorCal needs to get their own water sources. They need to stop worrying about what we're doing up here and worry about being thirsty down there. That's what I think. Y'all been having a drought for a long time, and
there's no water down there.
You've been sipping from our milkshake for a long time. To go back to that, there will be blood.
I think we need to separate California into 7 separate states.
I would love to see how California gets chopped up. It's still so foreign to me.
You know what's so crazy was when I was younger, it was like I lived in like a red area that I didn't know it until like high school. Like I didn't know I was like, and I remember they were gonna pass. Was it like no on 8? It was like the gay marriage shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was no on 8 if you wanted gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere I went, it was yes on 8, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like I thought we knew what we were doing out here. And
then, the wool lifted it from your eyes,
and then it flipped.
Everyone putting their hoods on.
Yeah, and then the valley flipped, and then after high school, like right after high school. But it was very homophobic out here.
Yeah, it was mad homophobic.
Yeah, it was crazy. I said I was a homophobe myself, if I'm being honest. Then I saw a commercial where Lindsay McGuire.
Oh, okay.
Lizzie McGuire. You know where I'm going with that?
Going to Greece.
Yeah. Lizzie McGuire. These 2 kids are in like a dressing room, and one's like, "That's fucking gay," and she's like, "Oh, really? What if I said that was whatever?" And then she fucking owned him so bad that they stopped being homophobes.
She cured you.
I saw that and I was like, damn, that's like me.
So you're saying, what you're saying is that commercial 100% works.
They need to bring back that commercial to stop this groomer shit.
Basically.
That could solve a lot. If Hillary Duff was
Hillary Duff, there was Hillary Duff, there was Wanda Sykes. I really don't.
Oh, that's right. Wanda had one of them.
If Wanda Sykes says groomer, like 80% more Americans are going to say groomer, and they're going to try to imitate her voice saying groomer. So I don't know, man. I'm
fighting all my temptations to like try and do a Wanda Sykes impersonation, and
I can do it perfectly.
No,
I can do it perfectly, but I don't think we should have that. I don't think we should support that.
Ruben, why do you have a Wanda Sykes just ready to go?
Okay, hold on. I got a better deal. I'll do a different impression, but I'll say what I think Wanda Sykes would say at one of her shows in regards to groomers.
I don't know about this.
It'll be a legally viable impression of the beloved Patrick Warburton as Wanda Sykes talking about groomers at a comedy set.
I'm doing the knife thing from the film Aliens right now. I'm sweating profusely. Look at the time.
Oh yeah, we should take a break. Everybody, we'll be back. Thanks for listening to Pigironpodcast. We'll be right back after these messages.
We could take a break and then come back and wrap it all up. How about that?
I was about to say, Oh God, yeah.
It's been an hour and a half.
That's why our podcast goes so long. We're so engaging. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like
this is like when we start getting warmed up.
Yeah, we get hyped up. We're like, oh shit, 2 hours have passed. We gotta.
It does take 2 hours to really start going, and then you immediately stop. That's how we deal with our audience.
It's crazy.
It's a good tech.
Yeah, I kind of follow some of that, like myself. I think it's really good when we get going on something, and I do like. I think me and Jake have always tried to figure out how to rein stuff in if it's getting too long-winded, but I don't know if we're like fully there. But this has been awesome so far. I felt like wild earlier because it sounded like mad disrespectful, but like Big Two stuff is like sometimes a little bit depressing to see. But it is good to think about that shit. Like, how do like regular hustling artists keep being regular hustling artists, and it's to go where the fucking work is.
Yeah.
So I think the way that's
an important thing to talk about too. So
yeah, we try to walk it back a bit. because like it's very easy. It's very easy to just shit on them, and we have spaces where we can do that. But
I don't even think it's shitting. It's like a frustration, if anything, for me personally.
Yeah. It's just I don't know if there's a space for artists who just want to like work. Like everyone who's doing like the social media hustle, they have to like feign this like unending love for the product.
They have to be accessible is the fucked up thing.
Yeah, like you become a mascot for your company no matter what.
Yeah, and it's like LinkedIn culture bleeding into everything. So you better watch what you say.
You don't even have benefits.
It's what fucking happens to everyone, and it's what. There's not going to be Alan Moores and shit like that anymore. Like, there's not going to be there. You know, regardless of how you feel about them, there's like, there's not going to be like fucking. They're not going to have people allowed to do the fucking outlandish shit for whatever reason.
This running joke where we're apparently living in a golden age of comics because every single review is a 9.5.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
And you know they're in our group chat though.
Oh my god.
Bruh.
All right, Michelle, what's your idea for our break here? Do we want to take?
I'm stopping right now. Yeah. 5 or 10. Is that cool for y'all?
They're showing that like Mexican Namor, so the new Black Panther movie is like a race war.
Oh wait,
what?
I'm looking at the
Namor is
badass, dude.
Aztec.
What the fuck up?
That's kind of
this sounds tight as hell.
What the fuck? We got a Mexican Namor?
We got a Mexican
this dude's
Namor.
dark as hell, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's tan.
Race war.
And he's gonna pound out Invisible Woman?
I fucking hope so.
That's such a Mexican thing to do.
Bro, I would
find the whitest woman possible.
Wow, maybe Namor was Mexican all along.
I gotta tweet that.
All right.
I'm gonna call Reed Richards a fool.
He's gonna call Reed. Oh man. I can't wait for him to curse at Reed Richards in Aztec language.
Dude, Apocalypto's about to go so crazy.
Yes.
We need to reevaluate Apocalypto and how banger that movie was.
Oh boy.
You know what I just watched last night is The Canyons, the Bret Easton Ellis, Lindsay Lohan, Paul Schrader film.
I know about that.
Oh, that's the one Paul Schrader wrote, but it was known for having the, I guess now infamous James Dean in it. Right?
Yeah, Schrader directed it, but Sex Pest James Dean was one of the stars.
That's correct. Yeah.
So
was that movie Buck Wild?
There was some Buck Wild elements to it, but it was honestly pretty tame. It was like it is just essentially a Paul Schrader movie, which kind of rocks because you know I did my Letterboxd review. I don't want to repeat too much of it, but it basically was like I used to listen to Bret Easton Ellis' podcast because it made me feel smart because he used big words, and he would always complain that it was the end of art, the end of cinema. It was a post-Empire, blah blah blah. And mainly he was just like really upset that his like millennial boyfriend wouldn't do the dishes.
That's fucking hilarious.
And he would hate that movie because he just felt like it didn't get that across, that it was the end of cinema. And yeah, like Schrader, I don't think cared about any of that. He just wanted to make like a weird, like erotic thriller kind of thing with like no budget. And so it was cool in that regard. And Lindsay Lohan was great in it. It's unfortunate that James Dean did those things, you know, what they say that he did, you know, I believe women. So I'm just going to assume it's all true.
Mm.
You know, fuck James Dean, apparently. I don't know much about him.
No.
I mean, like the rebel without a cause?
Yeah, no. they unburied him, and what was left
There's
of
a
his
porn star
brain.
named James Dean, Daniel, and he named himself James Dean for clout.
With two
E's. The saddest thing about it.
You mean the guy? He
He looks like the youngest uncle in any gathering of uncles, basically, is the best way to describe
I think I only know
Dean's
him
look.
as the guy who played Robin in the Batman porn.
Yeah, I think that's
All right.
right.
Yeah. That's
I think
that's
he
his
did
milieu.
some of the I think he did some of the James Gunn like not porn things.
Oh wow, yeah.
James Gunn made like some comedies that were like staged like pornos but weren't pornos.
He did it with God, like
yeah, that James Gunn's a real
alumni.
freak.
He did one with Nathan Fielder for sure, or not Fielder. Sorry, Fillion.
There it is.
God,
yeah.
That's a funny flip. Anyways,
but yeah, shout out to Paul Schrader. He's the man.
Paul Schrader is a deeply mentally unwell man who has a very entertaining Facebook. It's very cool.
Oh yeah, his Facebook is hard as fuck.
That's is it like a official Facebook page or whatever for Paul Schrader?
It's just like he uses it like he's anybody else, which is cool.
So like, can anybody be friends with Paul Schrader on Facebook? Is that?
Well, you like it. It's like a. It's
okay,
like
so it is. Okay, that's what I was wondering.
But he runs it though. Like it's
That's
just his
fun.
thoughts.
I love when celebrities have no filter between them and social media. That shit's hilarious.
He'll like reply to people. He's chill.
Tim, I don't think I've seen a Paul. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've seen a Paul Schrader movie
ever.
I'm looking.
You've at least watched something he's wrote.
Oh yeah, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull.
Oh sure, yeah, as a writer, sure. Yeah.
But the Raging Bull is like, or Taxi Driver is just like, if you've seen Taxi Driver, you've seen like 4 or 5 of his movies.
Okay, it's like that.
Yeah. It's he calls them like Men in a Room movies, where it's just like a person losing their mind, in isolation. It's like American Gigolo is that, Hardcore is kind of that, Affliction is that.
Stuff that Ramon can relate to.
Dude, I got so depressed watching those movies recently. I had to stop. And I still haven't watched First Reformed because that's like mixing in like climate change on top of it. I was like, I can't handle it. It's gonna fuck.
Oh yeah, no. First Reformed, it's like the film form of my tummy hurts, like just the whole time. It's
yeah, I can't watch that. I mean, I'll watch Card Counter, but I'll watch
it has a sobering Cedric the Entertainer role. Just to put it into the context for you, like Cedric the Entertainer is like brought down to earth, and it's one of the coldest things aside from Ethan Hawke basically losing his mind, but for sensible reasons, if that makes sense.
Is this somebody fucks his wife or something?
No. I don't want to spoil the whole film.
I don't care. It's been out for like 5 years.
Basically, he's at this church that is, like any other church in America, basically failing because spiritual crisis, etc. And so he's beholden to a specific set of people that he answers to, etc. But he sort of encounters some deep green resistance people, and he basically starts becoming more informed, and the more he does, the more insane he sort of becomes. It leads to a very insane conclusion. But one bit that I think a lot of people maybe remember because it's such an insane visual is him just pouring as much Pepto-Bismol as he can into a full glass of Scotch whiskey. It's one of the most psychic damaging images committed to film.
I like Hardcore. It's fun.
Yeah, it's
you know what that is?
Upbeat movie.
No, well,
it's Hardcore.
George C. Scott. Yes.
Yeah, George C. Scott is like a deeply religious man in the Midwest, and his daughter goes off for like a Bible trip, and she runs away, and so he's like looking for her, and then he hires Ray Romano's dad from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yes.
And he brings him a film that he buys that is her getting fucked by two guys.
Oh no!
His teenage daughter getting like double penetrated. In like the old school porn, like back when you had to get like a reel-to-reel
film stock. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was like they literally like these things have no names. You buy it, and I don't know how he finds it. I think he just like somebody must be like, oh, I know that face, whatever. But so then George C. Scott goes out west to look for her in California, and he just goes into every kind of sex worker type establishment. So like a massage parlor, a peep show, porn shops, everything. And it's like deeply researched. Like Paul Schrader was going into all those places, like trying to figure out what the deal was at all those places. And like, yeah, the dude just kind of like becomes a sleaze bag just by like, he's like highly Calvinist, but he just falls into the culture, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm. He gets lost in the sauce.
Yeah. It's a sweet movie.
That honestly, yeah, no, that sounds
Schrader,
great.
Michelle's not wrong though. Schrader is a lunatic.
Schrader, I mean, but yeah, like only a lunatic can sort of take you there sometimes.
Honestly, I think it, directing a movie is lunatic work in my opinion a lot of the time. So good direction.
Blue Collar too is really great. Have you ever seen that one, Michelle?
Blue Collar,
it's Harvey Keitel. Kato, whatchamacallit, the guy from Alien.
Okay, yeah.
And then Richard Pryor. And they work at an auto factory, and they all hate their jobs, and their union is like fucked. So then they decide to steal from the union.
Then that is the one Richard Pryor movie I haven't seen.
Okay, it's sick as fuck. You should watch it.
Okay.
It's basically like a whole, like, you know, it's a whole class thing, like, you know, class traders, and also Harvey Keitel is like losing his mind. Again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is This is like pre God, what was that one big Clinton sort of NAFTA agreement? This is like a pre-NAFTA union movie. The only other one I could think of is like fucking Michael Keaton and Gung Ho. Have you ever seen that one? No. It's about an automotive company and basically them being merged or bought out by a Japanese company, and then trying to find some sort of middle ground. I think it's like the managerial side of a movie like, say, Blue Collar. Yeah, that one, for some reason, was always on HBO. Like, the shittier Michael Keaton movies would always run 2 p.m. onward on HBO. But yeah, so we're back from break.
We're back?
And we're back, folks. I want to say a lot of the stuff I've been like checking out of both of yours outside of the obvious cover stuff. You guys are both like prolific print artists. Myself, like when I got into comics, it was like working with people.
Do you sell prints, Daniel?
I've sold prints. I don't like.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Michelle.
I'm taking Michelle's charity right now.
Yeah. I don't really sell that many prints either. That's why I'm like,
I've looked
but we
over.
do pinups. Yeah. Same
your pinups, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. I guess an important distinction to make there.
I do a lot of like fan art.
Yeah, that's sick. I love Daniel's fan art. It's like some anime I've never seen, and it'll be like 500,000 likes on it. I'm like, what the
like I'll get lucky if I manage to like tap the right demographic.
Yeah, but you popped off a few times with those.
Yeah, I just have to draw Vegeta.
No, you had one that was like people getting in the fucking balloon or whatever. That was kind of big.
Yeah, that was like a Final Fantasy thing.
I think recently one of the bigger ones I'd seen, because Dune fever was sweeping the nation.
Yeah, I accidentally read listened to 6 Dune books
accidentally
over the winter. It was insane. So I had brain worms, but they were sandworms.
Wait a minute. So the Dune popped off?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Dune had a moment.
No, your Dune. I mean, like your thing.
Oh, mine. Yeah.
What did you do?
I mean, for me, a good piece gets like 900 to 1,000 likes or something.
Yeah, mine doesn't. I don't know why people hate my art on Twitter. Other places they like it. On Twitter,
I was looking up like your Tumblr years. You had like pretty
Back
consistent
then, yeah.
like 800s and stuff, like
I was popping
pre-porn
off
ban.
then, yeah.
Yeah,
You stopped right when it ended. You were just like, Twitter it is. But
Well,
like,
no. What happened was I was working at Marvel, so there were like,
it's hard to post. It's hard to make drawings for the content once you have a job.
That's when I dedicated more time to Twitter, because I was like, I don't got to post drawings here. I do whatever the fuck I want. I get much more play doing things on Twitter, like you mentioned earlier, the Woodstock 99 thing, where you're just like doing jokes and shit. That, you know, it's not like great numbers every time, but a lot of times that'll be more likely to pop off than art. Nobody wants to see my drawings on Twitter. They want to hear my beautiful words.
It's funny to see like haters say that you just fell off. You're just not drawing. You're just a Twitter guy.
That is the best. I especially loved when my thing popped off the other day about Batman. And people were like, he's just a fucking sports guy, and he just wants to talk about comics. What the fuck? Some meathead.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think I wanted to ask, like, because you so immediately were like, what are the numbers on that? Is there and then you guys talked about like getting a job and how it's harder to post art. Is there like parts of your careers as like illustrators where obviously you draw for practice, right? You draw just to get good at drawing and get better at drawing, but like the output of that in the form of like what like fan art or posting on Tumblr, does that ever feel like part of like a game, so to speak, or like the game, so to speak?
Ramon's great at that game.
Podcast, yeah. We talked about it a little more on our podcast before. I don't know if it was like what, I don't know when, but I know we had this conversation.
It was like one of the early episodes when we were talking about like our upbringing in the internet.
Well, because I did it was a very coordinated effort to get my stuff in front of people. So like I would try to work it like it was a game, where I would be like, okay, I'm going to do a drawing every day because I'm going to community college. I'm doing like little jobs around town art wise. And I'm like, you know, just barely, I'm making a little bit of money, but nothing at all, like really, you know? And so I was like, I'm going to draw superheroes, but then I'm going to tag the writers and the artist of it, because then they're more likely to do it. And then the more I realized, oh, what people like is not drawing regular superhero costumes. I'll add sneakers or wrestling moves or whatever, things that I like, things that I was interested in. And then that would pop off as much, if not more. And I was like, oh, like nostalgia shit pops off. So I would do like Three Ninjas, hey, Real Monsters, like things that I liked when I was younger.
Totally, yeah.
I would just do that stuff, and then people would go crazy for it. So then I was just like finding how to work the system to get my stuff as many views as possible. And like, you know, now I don't know how you would do that. Like, you know, short, I guess on Instagram maybe, but like, you know, I was fortunate to do that at the right time to get a job doing that. Like,
and the right place, to be clear, was that Tumblr back then?
That Tumblr era where all the writers, all the artists, and all the editors were on there.
Okay.
The editors, I didn't even know that they were watching back then. Now I know the editors are always watching.
They're always watching.
Yeah, back then I had no idea that the editors were the ones, you know. So I had got hired off of doing Tumblr shit, like straight up. They didn't know I drew comics. They just knew that like this guy's art is very popular on Tumblr.
That's like, I mean, so that rules. That's sort of this in the spirit of our show, is just like how you get that stone rolling. So like how you get the thing going.
It was as calculated as it could be, of like, I have a finite amount of time that I could make this art. I better make it count. And I better like not doing stuff that like, there was only a few times where I did things and I would always label it as like, you know, bait, you know, or like pandering. Like I did like an Adventure Time one. I don't give a fuck about Adventure Time.
Yeah.
But I did a drawing of like, what if I drew Adventure Time, like a real looking kid, a real looking dog. And I was just like, yeah, this one is just me trying to get views. That's it.
Yeah. If Ramon drew Adventure Time, it would be like a dog with the DAWG.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It was just like a whimsical little kid sitting next to a dog staring into space. And you know, I sold a lot of those prints
right
at cons back in the day.
Yeah, I'm super interested in the shift of because I've been going to conventions for a good chunk of my life, and it didn't used to be that artist alleys were like solely people doing fan art prints. Yeah, print wall guys. Yeah. That's a whole wild thing.
So yeah, when I got into doing cons, it was 2011 ish, like 2009, 2010, 2011, and
it feels like right the end of it being accessible.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it was right at the end of the recession. There were nobody at these shows, so like I don't mean like just wallow. I just mean like nobody was going to them.
Right.
So I was like desperate to try to get stuff in front of people, you know? And then when the business started picking up, I remember chasing the idea of like, okay, there's a con coming up. I got to make a print of this. And then I remember my friends being like, do you want to be a print guy or do you want to be a comics guy? Because you can't do both good.
That's a good point.
God.
And so I said, okay, that's a good point. I want to be a comics guy. So I didn't chase it. Like I still have the same prints and I still have like good prints that I would do at shows, but they're the same ones pretty much everywhere I go. And they're like, if I do a commission that I think will sell good as a print, then I'll make prints of that. That's how it usually works now. But like, you know, and the ones will be like Cholo Ghost Rider, you know, Wonder Woman if she was Mexican, like things like that. I'll do those. I had a Bernie Sanders one that was a commission. Some guy asked me for Bernie Sanders playing basketball. I'm like, oh, that's a print. And so I got,
they handed you
it's a golden
gold.
The dude knew it too. He's like, I got one for you. So he paid me the money for the commission. He owns the original. He's happy with it. But then I also got to make a fuck ton of money back in the day. And I donated a lot of that to Bernie Sanders, to, you know, in fairness.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just go everywhere with that fucking print, and people love Bernie. So I was making money. It was like Bernie and Spider-Man were the two fucking big sellers at my table. The good old days, the salad.
I was about to say
that's
like, it's crazy to think that I mean, I guess cons are still happening, but
I stopped traveling since COVID.
I would say that's the biggest, even like
it feels like the past, even though right now we are in the middle of
Comic-Con
San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. That's fucking
I used to go to that one. Like I've
seen pictures, it looked packed.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to that show. I know it's gonna be crazy. And I know that they had like really like you had to have the test and you had to have the vaccine. Well, I don't care. People
are gonna come out of there with monkeypox.
That stuff doesn't, when it comes to crowds of that size, it's not really doing a lot.
Yeah. So I almost went anyways, and we're just not going to go to the show, but like there were going to be parties and like, you know, some people talk about going to that show and they have like an outsider's perspective of what it's like to go there. If you have done work and if you know the right people, you're just going to hang out. You're not going to do the other bullshit. You go.
No, totally.
You make money. Like I would do commissions and like make a ton of money. That was like pre-internet commission stuff, or like before that market switched online. It used to be like Chinese people, like people would fly in from other countries with lots of money and would buy pages and commissions at their shows.
You'd have to line up in the fucking, when they're like waiting for the artist to get there. I remember seeing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, now it's not. It kind of stopped being about that, but it used to be that you would go there and that was a big money show for that reason. But yeah, I mean, I'll go and I'll meet with editors. They'll buy me lunch or dinner. Then the companies that have parties, I'll get invited to those, or I'll tag along with somebody who's invited. And so I'll get dinner there. And then, you know, it's like you're chilling.
Ramon goes to get wine to dine.
It's a good show if you're chilling and you want to get free shit.
Just getting free food.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. And I don't drink. But that's the other thing, is if you do drink, you're getting free drinks too.
Oh boy. Yeah. Anytime they basically provide free drinks at an event or whatever, it's insane. They have like really fucked up and weird themes because it's like trying to be high end, but then it's like they're just sort of aiming for the middle of the road. One place was like a macaroni and taco bar. The tacos were pretty sick. The macaroni It was fucking awful.
Are you just talking about catering food experiences you've had?
No. Industry ones. They're very fucking weird. But yeah, nothing but free alcohol. A lot of day drinking at those events because there are like thousands of people. I hate it.
I mean, I don't understand going to a convention and not drinking. So.
Yeah. It's you have to almost to a certain degree, unless you don't, which is also acceptable.
That's old times anyway.
Yeah, shout out to the straight edge people.
My favorite though is people like, want anything? People, like dudes at shows, like editors and shit, or like whoever like, you want anything? I'm going to the bar, and I was like, give me a seltzer water. I would just be like, yo, bring me an unlimited rounds of fucking seltzer water with limes. That's what I want. Nothing tastes better than a seltzer water from the fucking bar with a fresh lime in it, especially when somebody else is bringing it to you.
Yeah. Oh god.
That was my move. I at first I would be like, no, it's okay, I don't drink, and then later I was like, oh wait a minute, they'll bring me seltzer water, club soda. That's the move.
Is it LaCroix now?
CO2.
I wonder.
You don't drink seltzer water? You don't drink fucking the sparkling water? I
mean, once upon a time, but like it got to a point where it was incorporated into everything, and the same thing happened with kombucha, and there were like 8 different kombucha brands when I went to the store, and I just default to Arizona now because I'm just gonna get the Arnold Palmer thing. Oh, great! That doesn't taste like it doesn't taste like fucking medicine. I hate seltzer water so bad. I hate to build like. I'm sorry.
Listen, I love Arnold Palmer's. I was with you until you said seltzer water tastes like.
What if you had a sparkling Arnold Palmer? This is bullshit.
You know what I will do?
If they make it, I'll be right there. I'll be right there with you when the revolution occurs.
What I like to do. Then, let me tell you my move.
Okay.
At cons, at home, it used to be not at home because I used to feel like this is extravagant, but now I'm like, well, who cares? What am I living for? What am I dying for?
Yeah.
I like to get an Arnold Palmer, or even more elite move, especially at a con. I don't get an Arnold Palmer. I get a matcha lemonade.
Ooh.
So it's lemonade with matcha powder. You stir that up, and it's like a advanced Arnold Palmer because it is tea. That's what matcha is.
Yeah.
But it's like high grade, ceremonial grade. Like Japanese monks died for this shit. It's incredible.
Your brain starts vibrating off the inside of your skull. Yeah.
No,
great.
It really does. Have you fuck with matcha or no?
I've done that. I like mate. That shit's great.
Yeah. See, I don't do the mate.
Mate is like too much.
I don't like too much. But it's just straight matcha powder and lemonade, and then I'll drink it until it gets a little low. Then I'll crack open the lime seltzer. And I'll pour that some bitch in there. I'll mix that up. And now I got a matcha.
Well, they're complimentary at that point.
It's like a second level drink.
It's the drink finishing tech. Yeah, no, I love this. You use the remnants of your first drink to flavor the next drink.
Yes.
That's genius.
Yeah, like having 2 beverages, I used to think insane move. Like one.
It's because this
is like having 2 beverages at minimum is the move.
Multi-bev to mono-bev is like
evolutionary
technique.
At any given time, I always have 2 beverages.
This is how the apes learned how to like leave the cave and like make cabins. They're I'm gonna pour a juice into another juice.
Just say fuck it, I'm getting multi-beverages, right? Now at home, if I'm leaving my kitchen, I'm making sure I get 2 things because I know if I'm eating like pasta or whatever I'm eating for dinner, I might want a little bit of clear seltzer water. Then I might want something sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Seltzer by itself, I can't do it.
Friend of the show, Virgil Texas. I remember he always used to talk about the multi-beverages.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever he is.
Friend of your show.
What's that guy been up to?
No, not like your show.
I don't know him.
You said you were close friends with him before.
Yeah, no. I think the only thing I ever think about when I think about Virgil Texas is like, I really dislike the Bad Faith podcast after a certain point.
I disliked it after 2 minutes.
After the point of its creation.
No.
When did you like the show? That was terrible.
No.
It was one of the worst things I ever heard.
All right, I'm a fan of panel-based shows where they ask like a bunch of people because, okay, maybe the hosts chime in, but it's what I remember from a more like traditional television format was, okay, let's hear a bunch of different things, and they're legitimately different because there's a bunch of people, versus like regurgitating whatever the hosts might want to say, which is going to be at home with a politics podcast. But this is one of the first times with a podcast where I was like, bring the sex pest back. Honestly, this is awful. this is Peter Thiel's fucking waiting room. It's like 4 or 5 Me Too'd guys every 5 seconds. It's debilitating. I turn into the fucking crypt keeper. All the moisture leaves my body.
My theory is that after Virgil realized how terrible that show was, he anonymously Me Too'd himself to get out of it.
Oh my God.
It on himself.
It's the only explanation.
That's
that
might be valid.
That's like what they did in the Schwarzenegger film Eraser. Like, you have been erased, and then the guy from Witsec like gets rid of everything. Here is your new home. Here is your new job. Your name is Stevie. Your name is Ramon Villalobos.
Man.
Shout out to your friend of the show, Virgil, Texas.
I've never interacted with him.
You loved his show. You loved Bad Faith podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Ramon, do you like root beer?
You know, that's so fucked up. I was just talking to my friend yesterday about this. That like after I stopped drinking soda, I don't drink seltzer water. I don't drink like other beverages like that. That's the one that I miss.
Yeah.
It's like
that's the one that hurts.
Great time.
Yeah, like I used to never fuck with it. I used to drink like cola, like a normal person, like not a freak. And then when I stopped drinking all soda, I thought, dude, sometimes I just want a fucking root beer.
Oh,
that's like the classic shit. That's like, I
don't know what it is.
There are so many caffeine-free ones.
Why do you ask, Ruben?
There's also sugar-free ones. I like Virgil's. It's pretty good.
Oh, full circle. Holy shit.
Wait, where do you get that?
It's like like Sprouts or like a hippie grocery store.
I've seen Virgil's in the Safeway, but it's like in the it's next
Trader
to
Joe's has some. Trader Joe's will have some. Yeah.
I go to Trader Joe's often.
I have every flavor. Sometimes it's just like the one. They might have the orange one or the Coke one instead.
What I have got is it's like a New York seltzer. You know what? It's like, I think they're just called New York seltzer.
Yeah, I've seen the New York seltzers.
And those are like clear, so I feel like that's not really a soda. So I've gotten a root beer one of those when I go to the deli.
But they have a shitload of like sugar in them.
Yeah, but it's not like it's not. I don't feel like it's like a regular soda.
They have sugar, but it's not. It's categorically like not as much as like a can of Coke or whatever.
Yeah, and I've had like one of those, and it's like I feel like it's almost not even worth it. Like.
They have those on Seinfeld. That's what I noticed, Jerry.
Oh,
That's like one of Jerry's drinks.
Yeah, holy shit! I didn't. There's something that always felt very classy and old school about it. That must be what it is.
It was watching the Netflix Seinfeld is kind of weird because like the upres actually, like, you can see so much fucking shit on those and the sets and everything now.
I gotta watch it.
You can see like every Netflix video on Jerry's like a fucking apartment stand.
They have like half the sugar of a Coke. Just for reference, 39 to 23.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I've bought those at the grocery. They're not that bad.
I'll have to try the Virgils though. Thanks for the hot tip.
Give them a shot. They're fun.
I've tried the LaCroix cola flavored ones.
Oh,
yikes! Yeah, that's.
Oh, you gonna fuck with them?
I had one. I was like, no thanks.
I'm not. I wasn't mad at it.
It tastes like. It's so difficult to describe because obviously, yes, cola, nut, whatever, but it simply tastes like almost oaky. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
When you take the sugar out of cola flavors, that's what
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like weirder.
Daniel, is this like a weird conversation? Because on the island you just crack open a mango and let the juices drip down your chin.
I'm just
Jesus.
I'm just observing like American soda culture.
I'm inoculated. I could Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
no,
even more than your
over
average
here
bear.
we just have like Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Just if you want to drink
Yeah.
soda,
Obviously.
you just have
At a
that
glass.
Sprite,
Yep.
Mountain Dew, and then like if you're gonna drink like regular people stuff, we have like Malta. Ruben, you know Malta?
That
your
almost
blood.
sounds familiar, but no.
It's in your blood.
No. A lot of things aren't in my blood.
Ask your dad about Malta.
No Malta. No, I don't talk to my family.
I'm just trying to connect you to your roots.
That's
Malta,
okay.
India is a beautiful experience.
Wait, is that a sore spot? Your family?
Oh no, just I don't.
Oh, I wasn't
like
sure. I don't
them.
know if Daniel was crossing a line.
Oh,
No,
I
it's not a line.
apologize.
I just don't like them. That's
Oh,
it.
well,
That's fine.
just
They
sometimes
suck
Daniel
ass.
crosses these lines, and it's like, dude, shut
Yeah,
up.
I just
no,
want
I
to know
He's
that
like-
they suck.
If there's a problem with your family, and he just keeps bringing it up, if there's like real tension, it's gonna be like he's rude.
So like certain gas stations, you can get like vanilla or cherry seasoning flavor added to like a
Yes.
drink before you pour it.
No.
Dude,
Vanilla
back when Target
Mountain
used to
Dew.
do that shit, vanilla Mountain Dew.
Vanilla Mountain
so
Dew?
fucking good.
What?
I can't fucking believe how good vanilla Mountain Dew is.
Crazy.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, no.
It is
the thing
really
of-
fucking dangerous.
The thing about me is I'm a purist.
I didn't drink
right?
soda for 6 years.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and then I saw a vanilla button, so I drank Mountain Dew vanilla.
Now you're back.
Figured I'd have a little treat. It was good.
I'm such a purist
Why are you a
that even
purist?
when I did drink soda, when I would go to those places and it would be like the machines to like, test new shit out.
Yeah.
Like the Target, I remember they had it, and I used to go to Target and like get free sodas and just refill. I would be like, I'll just get Coke. Like I was like, should I want to try the twist? Like, because I used to love Pepsi Twist. So I want to get like some lemon flavor. Nah, I'm just gonna get Coke.
I mean,
I was a big
Pepsi-
vanilla Coke guy.
Pepsi
Oh, Coke's
Twist was
good.
my shit. Pepsi Twist.
Was that Pepsi with lemon?
It's a twist of lemon, yeah.
yeah.
Damn. I do put lemon in the Coke on those little machines. I've done that.
On a freestyle, you have it your way.
No, yeah, the freestyle
The
is
freestyle
is
is
when
so
the
good.
whole game changed.
You
You could
get out
do
the fucking app and you unlock the exclusive fucking
What?
flavors, the establishment you're at.
yeah,
The
code.
Fuddruckers flavors of Coke.
That's crazy. I
App
used to.
specific flavors.
I love when I go
App
somewhere.
specific flavors. You can't press the button without the app.
I
Doesn't let
love.
you.
I love when I go to a place and they have the fucking freestyle thing, because then I know that I can get seltzer water.
Oh yeah.
I can get
easy
seltzer water
peasy.
and I can get a
It's
Coke.
it's literally just a seltzer water machine with like 50 different little flavor
Right.
modules in it.
They're insane.
But
It tastes
other
like dog shit
other
too, though.
places you go, you're not guaranteed that they're gonna have the little soda button under the Sprite.
Yeah,
True
that's a
facts.
fucking
You might just
shame.
get flat
Yeah.
water.
Yep. Or
And if you-
tea. I'll get like the sweetest, most disgusting raspberry brisk tea that I've ever had.
Yeah, like the tap water
Horrible.
that sort of tastes like lemonade because it's on
See,
the lemonade nozzle.
Well, if that is the case, I just get lemonade.
Yeah.
But
Brisk sweetened tea is like on a different level. It tastes like what you imagine antifreeze would taste like to an animal.
I got
It's
some
bad.
brisk thing the other day that was like green and it was watermelon cube, and I only got it because it was neon green.
See?
Here's the problem.
you remember
It
when
didn't taste like
Sobe-
anything.
Do you remember when Sobe and Brisk were like killing the game with new teas?
Fucking Sobe, so
Yeah.
goddamn fucking good.
Remember
that
when they were
life
just
water.
like,
There was
creamy fruit drinks, folks. This was a thing that entranced America. Creamy
I fucking
fruit
hated creamy
drinks.
fruit
Yeah,
drinks.
what do you know
no,
about
I
this,
didn't.
Daniel?
I didn't fuck with the creamy drinks. That's bullshit.
Worst shit I've ever tasted.
Well, I mean,
Honestly, that shit's kind of
Sobe-
sus too. for real.
Sobeys were like a bunch of solid colors for a lot of those.
Also,
Not the juices.
all
I'm
Sobeys are
sorry.
shit. Sobe green tea elixir, only
Oof.
fucking thing to drink. Shut the fuck up if you drank a Sobe and had anything but that. You drink the ones you
Remember
can't
when
see through.
Sobe had the little lizard, Mr. Green.
Oh yeah,
Those are
He-
cool guy.
Damn,
he
dude.
always had tribal tats. He was sick looking.
Badass.
That was badass.
Badass.
Daniel.
Yeah,
Daniel,
I just need to say that this conversation is why the rest of the world hates America.
I would 100%
I'll agree.
that statement.
Just because you crack open a coconut,
Like
that's
I want
a
Jesus.
beverage.
I want to join
Oh,
ISIS
God.
after this conversation.
And second of all, we know that you lived in Iowa or whatever the fuck. Like
I lived
don't
in
act
South
like-
Dakota. I lived in the belly of the beast.
Don't act like you were just
Ooh.
living in Puerto Rico your entire life.
Yeah, no, I had 4 years like as a kid, which like indoctrinated me in like hatred.
That's true. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Exposure.
no
None of
child
the-
should be made to
no-
spend 4 years in South
None
Dakota.
of the racism you have encountered tonight, folks, wouldn't have happened if we all didn't have it limited to mild interaction with America at large.
I am gonna have to ask y'all to stop talking about soda. That's a lot. We've been talking about soda for a long fucking time.
I was
You wanna
talking about
bet?
green tea.
Yeah,
It's true. We gotta listen. It was a good natural evolution, but I
Sobe
think,
is green tea. That's not soda.
that's true.
yo, this is
It's a
where
green
I'll-
tea. Yeah, it's like a
I-
brisk.
I had access to Sobe for a lot longer than most people because one store near me had Sobeys still for some reason, and that store recently got rid of them. So now I'm just like everyone else, Sobe-less.
Mm.
No, but my big con game though, like back when I used to travel, the move for me, as soon as I got off the plane, as soon as I checked into my hotel, was I would go to wherever I could get LaCroix or
Ooh.
seltzer
Oh, yeah.
water or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would fill the mini fridge with LaCroix and I would take a photo and be like, it's on.
Party in Ramon's room, baby.
I would,
Yeah.
I would let
It's
people know,
time.
like, if I'm here for 4 days, I'm getting a 24 pack.
Do you want at least 3 seltzer waters? Well, come on by this.
You're not even finishing them. You're just taking like the first 3 sips out of one and then
No
just
way.
like, get the next.
I'm pounding. One of my favorite moments at any con ever was I got asked to do a fashion in comics panel, right?
Mm.
And so I go and I'm wearing an Adidas tracksuit,
Hell yeah.
like when I say tracksuit, I mean like windbreaker material, like you see on like Sopranos, black with the
Totally.
white stripes. So I'm wearing like what are they called? Like the, like it is a tracksuit, but it's like swishy tracksuit. I'm wearing an Adidas shirt. I'm wearing white Yeezys. So I'm all
Ugh.
blacked out. I'm wearing an Adidas hat with 3 stripes down the center. And so I'm wearing all Adidas everything down to my socks. Black with white stripes, except for my crispy ass white Yeezys that I gave to my brother. And then
Oh wow.
I get 2 LaCroix and I'm drinking them. I'm double fisting LaCroix in front of a sea of people that are like listening about fashion. There's like a, Jen Bartella sitting next to me and like all these people that
my
are like
God.
very fancily dressed,
Oh
know,
my god.
like attractive, fancily dressed people. And I'm like a slob drinking
You-
double fisting LaCroix,
You
wearing-
look like Hype Beast Wario at that
wearing
point.
sunglasses and wearing sunglasses, like looking like a mobster. And every time they would ask me a question, like, "What?" I'd be like, "What?" I wasn't listening. I was like talking to Jen Bartel on the side, like, "Oh, that was crazy. That thing that was sick." Okay. Anyway. Oh, what? It's my turn.
Hell yeah.
Just pounding LaCroix. It was the best.
Absolutely.
Then I have
That
like
rules.
extras with me just in case I ran out. But my move was if I could fit it in, I want to do a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Ooh.
And,
Just
like,
crush it on the head.
Just like pound them up above my head and then double,
Are you ready for this panel on inclusivity? Let's
I wanted
fucking
someone-
go.
I've done the inclusivity panels. I've done all
Oh god.
yeah, I used to love doing panels because I was only going up there to amuse myself.
Yeah, no,
So I love to go up there, tell
Mm.
jokes, be like, "What the fuck did that person just say?" Like
Yeah.
really antagonize other people on the panel.
Yeah.
It was great. I miss. One time I was in Portland and I
Mhm.
was telling them that I was wearing a Cal Berkeley hat and I was like full Northern California, like Bay Area sports guide out. And I was telling them that they should be thankful. This was about urban superheroes or whatever. And I told the people of Portland, they should be thankful that Californians from the Bay Area were coming to make a shitty town great with the infusion of tech money and the infusion of, you know, technologies and you know, all the shit.
This is the future.
I'm like, you should be lucky. Like, you complain about this stuff. This is great. We are fixing a broken society. I was getting pure.
Did you need like security to get out?
Yeah, I was about to say, was like, were you getting booze? Were you
motherfuckers
like,
from Portland ain't
were you
doing
healing?
shit to
Were you
me.
playing the heel? Like,
the motherfuckers in Portland ain't doing shit. I was really riling them up. It was more
thing.
It was groans.
That's so Portland. I bet you could say whatever the fuck you wanted in front of the Portland audience and no one would step to you, dude.
They're like pain pigs.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a weird thing with a lot of those types of panels. I dislike the flattened ones. I think the one time I done one and it was very weird because they didn't like age gate it at all. So a lot of people were there because Steven Universe, like cartoonist, was there next to me.
Culture.
Yeah, that's for the culture, and I'm like, I got the comic for like sucking dick for money, and an Iraq War veteran, and then a young adult adaptation of the Iliad. We had like at least 10 people walk out because. I wasn't trying to be antagonistic, but you really have to sort out the room sometimes. But yeah, it's fun, but it is so fucking weird.
Yeah, highly enjoyable experience if you can get people to listen to you rant.
Crowd work and ranting are like one and the same.
Well, comics people, they go up there and they just want to like, hey everyone, like, you know, I'm really excited if you want to check out this book. Like, you know, I'm like, no. Let's get crazy. Let's get weird.
Yeah, let's talk about making money in a callous way to children. Let's do this.
As a person who like used to go to panels at conventions, but was like, you know, a teenager when I was doing that. And eventually got like tired of what you would see at those panels, which was kind of what you were saying, Ramon, like the same, like, it's like, that's the only thing that makes a panel interesting is when someone like a Ramon steps up with a fucking tracksuit on. Yeah. It like dead ass, like as a just pure con goer, I think that is actually the only thing that makes good panels is like some sort of disruption, some, even if it's the people themselves that are supposed to be there, if they treat it with an attitude of like not giving a fuck, it makes for such a better experience, such a more like just ridiculous experience.
Because like, you know, like people treat Twitter like that too, which is so funny to me because it's like, why? Like,
absolutely. Like, be a character.
I'm not like Michelle. I'm not posting pornography. Like, I don't, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. But
Michelle's a very bold soul.
I don't care. What comment did I put out?
Michelle is, you know, but I'm just no. I'm saying, but that's what you would think that people say that I'm like that crazy on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, you are not. You are not posting whole. You are not posting whole.
I'm chilling, but they get so upset because I just don't take anything seriously. And like
they take it too seriously.
I've had editors that like, you know, hit me up that were like, I love it because this like an Andy Kaufman, like they can't tell if I'm serious when I would, you know, throw out these takes. But it's funny though that like so many people like they that's the thing when we talked about earlier about like, you know, these comics creators that are just sort of like making boring stuff. It's like they are being boxed in by themselves because of their own idea of like responsibility politics.
Sure.
You know?
Yes.
Like even like, you know, like Michelle, like I'm kidding, you know, I mean, I'm not kidding. You do post whole and everything, but like that, what I like about you is that you don't give a shit, you know? And
well, I mean,
but there's like, there are people that would be in your position that would say, okay, well, I have some amount of this career and I want to make sure I extend it as much as possible. So I'm going to be as polite as possible. I'm going to be a model citizen for whatever box they're checking me off as. Like if you're an LGBTQIA plus creator, you know, then I'm just going to be the most happy, proud one there is. And, you know, not going to step on any toes.
And you're going to celebrate everyone in that demographic regardless
Right.
Oh yeah, because the idea is to flatten everything.
Whereas there are plenty of Mexicans who I hate, and more Puerto Ricans and Cubans. Most of them I hate.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I don't know why we talk about it so often, but it comes up so much.
Who, me?
No, I'm fucking with you.
No. I mean, I do joke about this though. I don't know. It's just something. There's something like you were mentioning earlier about like the skull science or whatever.
Oh my god!
It's just funny to me to like make these arbitrary distinctions about like one kind of Latinx person and another.
Oh man, it's so weird. I think it was a little bit more with Daniel, but yeah, it's so weird. The respectability politics, obviously people are going to have their feelings about that, and I would be insane to fit my ideas like to be the sole narrative surrounding that. There is something that sucks though, where we kind of live in an outcome of like self-censorship leading to really bad outcomes. I think a lot of people look into media to like be a corrective when it comes to culture war shit, especially now. But like my feeling has always been, I think I would like the terms for how it happens to be much better, but like people actually hiring to reflect their values versus just like making X amount of character or inverting the character to fit a certain narrative or discrete identity, whatever you have it. Like, I think there's more value in just hiring people and having your office sort of reflect your values. And no one really likes to do that. And if you're always apologetic and you're always like so fucking happy to be here, then it ends up with a really bad power dynamic where people love to fucking remind you that you should be glad to be here. And they have subtle ways of doing it, and they have like public ways of doing it.
Yeah.
One thing I really enjoy, again, from the perspective of like, just a, like, again, not a, I don't make my money through comics. I'm just a guy who's enjoyed them quite a bit my whole life and is really fast. I'm like stupidly fascinated by why they're so popular now and all that stuff, and like why Avengers is $1 billion franchise and all that stuff. But
I have my theories.
Yeah. It's not like that. It's not even that complicated, but it's just been weird because again, like grew up getting made fun of this shit, and then like a turn happened.
Mythology.
Yeah,
but you're getting made fun of it.
When I see you being very like just funny on Twitter, to me very funny on Twitter, other people might describe it as whatever, like aggressively glib or whatever people call you, spiteful or like I don't want to.
And by the way, Dio is what I love about him is that he's the same way. He just has less followers.
I can't cause any controversy of nobody
he's watching. But we had like what the thing that really drew me to him is when I would look at his feed, I'm like, oh, he's just like me. But you know, people don't know about him. I think he's. I'm just. I think a much bigger failure. I think he's very talented.
I want to put a pin in how you two met. But the thing I really enjoy is when I will see big name, and I'm not going to name any names, but I will see big name comics writers reply to Ramon. And for the most part, these comics writers are white dudes, and I can say that because I am a white dude. And it's very telling to me that like.
Oh, there's like a get in line situation.
They're just not in on the joke, which is so funny because they're famous and presumably have a bunch of money and like are more like in a big name position, let's say, than other creators. And it's like whenever you get those dudes replying to you and they're taking you seriously, it really illustrates how bad, like how clueless they are at their own job almost. Like
they don't get the joke, but they're also very deferential to Ramon's identity. It's very funny.
My god.
Yeah, there's like different levels of that. There's like the older guard who like literally maybe has heard of me like in passing.
Sure.
And they're just like block, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Like for a while, like I changed my name to Kurt Busey.
that shit was hilarious.
And
right when Joe Biden got elected.
Oh hell yes.
When he took the resist out of his name, I'm like, bro, somebody's got to carry the mantle. Somebody's got to keep resisting. Kurt Busey. So I just switched it up, and I changed. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, that was one thing. But then there are some people who are like just genuinely my friends.
Right.
And I think over time, like they became more part of the system. And, I'm happy for them. Like genuinely, like dudes that would be like, I started when they started and we did shows together early on. And I know them from just being at Emerald City or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
And now they see me and they're just like, are you okay? Because you don't give a fuck about this. And if you did, you'd be more successful. But my thing is, I don't care. Like, would I like to have more money? Yeah, sure, I guess. But would I like to have my freedom? Like, more so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's because all that stuff, it can get taken away from you. And so like, how much is it really worth if you say the wrong thing and then suddenly like you get iced out of shit? Like, fuck, like I don't want to be in that system if that system dictates me being held to certain like sort of, respectability politics of like not saying like fuck Joe Biden if Joe Biden does something fucked up, or whatever it is. Like the one that really got a lot of people was when I was going hard for Bernie Sanders, but it's because I knew what was slipping away from us was having an opportunity to move the country in the right direction.
Totally.
And instead of having Joe Biden, who's a bad president, who I don't even defend him, but in theory, when I talk to conservative people, like, oh, your guy Joe Biden, it's like, dude, I hate Joe Biden more than you do.
Right.
But like, it was mainly, it wasn't even that they were like pro Joe Biden, it was that they were pro Elizabeth Warren.
Totally.
And so I would just talk shit about like cuck, soy, Elizabeth Warren people, and they're like, you sound all right.
I mean, well, I think it's a problem of self-reflection, because I mean, peel back a lot of onions. A lot of people resist people used to like constantly invoke Harry Potter, and now for some reason they can't invoke Harry Potter. We'll never know why. But even then, they're heroes.
Even then, remember the tattooed numbers?
Oh God,
that was so badass. That was actually the only thing.
That's pretty sick.
Holy shit.
Getting tattoos. That's badass.
Just right at the same points on the body. Yeah, not great.
The only cool thing the Elizabeth Warren fans ever did was that, and the only cool thing
fake Holocaust tattoo.
The only cool thing the K-Hive fans did was like bomb a bus one time.
Jesus Christ.
K-Hive is incredibly racist. It's insane.
To say it now, I forgot. My bad.
Wow. Oh God. Yeah. But the problem is, the way the sort of spheres of influence worked. It's like, you could, as long as you didn't like touch the taboo of like, the only reason Joe Biden won was because of the Democrats like one card, which was, rigid discipline, but not in the same way that excited Republican voters. Like a lot of those Republicans are so fire and brimstone because like they're on some level afraid that their votership and the police in their thrall will kill them if they don't say gradually more insane Facebook shit. Like there is an animated fear when Lindsey Graham talks the way he does.
I never in my life saw the Democrats more organized than when Bernie was going to win.
Oh my God. It was crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, if you were to break that taboo within certain milieus, like, no, we are all in favor of this, because if you weren't, so it's either pragmatism.
Like
it's like pragmatism or nothing, and that's where we live now.
Now all we have is a celebration of like being dark Brandon pilled.
Yeah.
We just like rejoice in the insanity.
There was a real inflection point that I remember where that turned, though, where it was like I was working on America Chavez. Like I did 2 issues of like a fill-in thing, and I was already pretty depressed. And I would start, that was the first time that I had attracted the attention of Comicsgate in like a real way.
Okay.
And they, like we mentioned it earlier, what freaks these people are. And they would just like every day, if I just talked to Tamara, my friend who's a colorist who colors me a lot, our exchanges would be the subject of like videos where it's just like these fucking psychos reading our tweets and like saying like what we're trying to do as like what, you know what I like SJWs or whatever. And then they would say that I was racist because I said white people should all be put into FEMA camps.
Wait, just to be clear, so did that like that stuff started happening just from like you doing like 2 issues of Marvel work? Was how these dudes started to find your name more or less?
Yeah. So some of them knew me because like the main guy at the Comics and Diversity, Richard Myers, knew my work, liked it in the past.
Sure.
And then when it came out, he had to switch up and be like, "Oh, this sucks. This guy's an SJW, blah blah." And like, you know, the way that I reacted to that was making fun of them, telling them to go fuck themselves, calling them fucking losers, saying that I'm better than them anyways, you know. And me and Tamara both had that point of view. Like Tamara was going super hard because you know they came after Tamara first. That's the Comicsgate people went after trans women harder than anybody. I know you know that, Michelle.
Yeah. It is what it is.
You, Sophie, Mags, you know, the trans women that worked in comics that were like, you know, bigger names, got it right away. I just happened to work on a book that they hated, which you know. I'm not going to talk about it, but
no.
But they hated that book anyways, and I drew a couple issues of it. So then they hated me for 2 issues, right? And when that was happening, my reaction was just tell them to go fuck themselves. You know, there were people, you know, like Mags that asked me to calm down, not talk about it, you know, be cool. Because that there was a strategy that was going to be working, that was going to work to make sure that all got sorted. And I didn't want to step on people's toes because, like I said, I'm not the one getting the brunt of the abuse.
Right.
So I said, okay, you know, like the editors had said, you might not want to engage with these people. Max said, you might not want to engage. So I said, okay, whatever, fuck it. And then look what happened. It just grew more. It just grew like a wildfire anyways. And now it's sort of died down. Now that shit is kind of not in vogue anymore.
I think it's also just like, you know, that's not even a comment on Mags. I had a similar thing said to me. I was told like, you have to quiet down, you have to do this or that. But the thing is, I kind of see where you're coming from. But I'm sort of a believer in the way out is through. A lot of people in those sort of movements are basically like either serial doxers or just culture war guys that want to like take their spin on Rush Limbaugh style shit, like whatever.
100%. But my point of view was, if I talk shit about them, then the people that follow me that know me are going to be like more likely to be like, oh yeah, fuck them, instead of like just letting it fester, which is what
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
they let it fester, and then people attacked. They continued attacking and doxing trans women and whatever. I like I said, I'm more respectful to that if you're coming at a point of view of like you're being harassed or whatever.
Yeah,
But like so like that meant more to me than my editor saying, "Hey, calm down." You know,
that's fine.
And so my like, but that was like that was like a kind of an eye opener of like, well, like we were polite and look what fucking happened.
Yeah.
You know, like all it did. And then when did it cool down? When like, you know, when people started sticking up for white women that were getting attacked. That's when
that was basically it. Darwin Cook's wife was the sort of levee breaking where they started making videos like, do we even talk about the shit we like doing anymore? Like I started watching some of them. I was a believer in the way out is through. I kept telling these guys to kill themselves, that they all look like child rapists.
I mean, I don't think people should have stopped.
And that, you know,
but that's that was my plan.
They kept leaning behind. They kept leaning behind, support the troops, and it's like, oh boy, you helped Blackwater guys like funnel in chill like 8-year-olds to get fucked by like Afghan warlords. You are less than scum to me. Like the problem is that's you can't.
This is what the SJWs do.
Yeah, this is what they do. They make me do human trafficking 4.3 years ago. It's like, no, that's the deference they would always like to have, like that specific milieu. I'm not like an anti-conservative, like that's like a thing that like exists in a big portion of my mind. No, it's like a dumb thing to think about all the time and like quake at like a fucking cat or whatever. It's like, no, these people were just like uniquely fucking freaks. Whenever you tweeted, they would make a video. That it's like single white female shit.
And again, only 2 issues. So then, so like it was interesting to get like to sort of vacation in that space. It was just funny because like the guy who said that he liked my work then went and said that I was only getting work because I was Mexican.
No,
like, dude, I worked on one Latinx book. This one, like, what are you talking about? I didn't get X-Men because they needed a Mexican on X-Men. It's just, it was an interesting thing of like, you can be polite, you can try to like be as nice as you can to these people because they buy comics too, and ultimately it won't matter. All you're doing is allowing them oxygen to keep doing that. And
it's terrible.
And again, that was a big turning point where, I didn't get shunned by anybody really, but I could tell that there were people. Again, I'm not going to name any names, but there were people who wouldn't say shit, even though their books were the ones being brought up as examples of good books, that they didn't agree with it. And they took a long time to say, hey, don't do that. Like, hey, I don't agree with that. When they could have easily just said that earlier on and it would have saved people that time. But it wasn't until the Darwin Cook thing happened. And, it sucks, but I'm glad that it eventually that did happen, that there was that breaking point, because otherwise who knows where it would be now. But
I think that sort of culture war vector through just media is now kind of, it's not necessarily siloed, but I think that larger project has moved away from media messaging. The only thing that really influences
the Amber
on
Heard
that
thing really fucked them up.
Facebook and YouTube and TikTok, basically any video vector. We got to see in real time, like something hit twice as hard on people's brain in a culture war way than like OJ. It was so weird. All of the animation YouTubers pivoted to it too, with the exception of a few. It was miserable. One
of the craziest things was like, I remember Gamergate when it first started, and I was like, I got it. What the fuck is Gamergate? And I like stood up watching the fucking Gamergate videos on like Zoe Quinn. These people are psychos,
Yeah.
And then I cut to a couple years later, where I'm at a Vertigo dinner, and Zoe Quinn is doing a Vertigo book, and I'm sitting right next to Zoe Quinn, and we're just talking about shit, and I'm just like in my head going like, I know too much about this woman's life. I know.
I
don't want to let on that I know.
I didn't know Zoe solely through that. I knew of Zoe and her work. I was in games crit before getting into comics, which is like the lowest form of crit. It's like, it's so hated. They like throw dirt at you. It's awful. But yeah, she did a pull quote for our book. It was I don't know if my brain had that, but it was like the opposite side. It was like, I think when I knew this person, it was like just cutting my teeth on the earliest shit. That's so weird.
Yeah, I like Zoe too, by the way. She's cool.
It
was just bizarre to be sitting there going like, I fucking watched 4 hours about this person's life.
Yes.
You should have mentioned that. Like, have you seen this podcast about you?
This is way after all that. I mean, we talked about that. I read that thing. Vertigo was paying, so like, order whatever you want, get appetizers. I'm like, yeah, these $25 tater tots, I'll take an order of those.
Hell yes.
Yes.
So we were just like, this is incredible. They're buying us tater tots that cost $25.
That's those Karen Berger tater tots right there, basically.
This is post Karen.
Oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, then we talked about like drag culture, because I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race at the time.
A lot of comic artists do.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't have any further.
I'd imagine. I mean, I feel like background. It's probably good. It's probably background TV, right? Like,
no. At the time, I was watching it with my roommate, because I liked Project Runway. I like all those shows. I like every show where there would be competition, because I'd watch it and be like, I could do that.
Project Runway is sick. I love Project Runway.
Any competition show, I was like, give me 2 months and I guarantee you I could be doing this level of stuff. I never thought that about Drag Race. But my friend Lou was like, oh, you should watch Drag Race, you like all this other shit. And I was like, oh, okay, let me check it out. And I watched it, and me and my roommate would watch it. We were like, yo, this is nuts. These people are insane. They're so good at this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just liked it because it's sort of like they know that they're on that show, whereas everybody else, like, have you ever seen Ink Master?
Oh hell
God,
yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. We are
like
living
the dumbest people ever, and the dumbest people in America that can sometimes be like idiot savants at one thing, tattooing. But they would just be like in the confessional, like, when it's time to step to the plate, this dog has a bite.
Oh my God.
And so like I would love watching it because they're so fucking dumb. But like it's like the Drag Race people, they like knew that they're here to be entertaining all the time. So it was like a smarter version of that.
Yeah, because there'll be like there'll be a very gay wrestling show basically.
I watched wrestling too.
Yeah, that's one of the gayest things a person can watch.
Whatever.
No,
I like violence, Michelle.
I'm just saying, there's like a lot of sequence on these dudes' outfits. That's all I'm getting at.
No, that shit's gay to call me gay, dude. Okay, before we wrap up, because I know that you guys are like, it's fucking time to wrap up.
No, that's cool.
I could have swore that me and Daniel were going to get awards for being such good allies.
Yeah. No.
Is this where it's presenting?
Right,
all right.
Michelle, you are the only woman. I am the only white man. Should we give our awards out?
All right. So, Jake, there's like certain awards. We went over this on their podcast before, but for those that haven't listened to that episode of Flentallo, like it was floated, an F pass, if you will,
Yeah, but, and we politely declined it because we were specifically good allies.
Yeah.
So like in terms of ally badges, for me personally, that's like the only thing I could hand out. Like I don't have like the higher tier ones. I can't hand out gold stars, for example. Like Ramon, I'm sorry, I couldn't. I mean, all right, yeah, all right.
Hit up the people at Flentallo, throw my name out there.
To Danielle, we give you one Effler pass if you so enjoy it, and Ramon, I give you one gold star, lesbian gold star.
So wait, I don't get the
lesbian.
I don't get the Effler pass either.
Listen, man.
So Daniel gets it, but not me.
Just wait, Ramon.
Ramon, listen. If you are a gold star lesbian, you can start an alpaca farm, like in the American Southwest. Okay, you can own so much denim at a discount. Okay, I'm just saying. Do you like those New Balances? Congratulations. That's all you're ever gonna wear again. We can do this. I mean, but saying faggot is pretty cool, so I feel you there. Like,
I'm keeping it, and I'm saving it for a real special occasion.
A rainy day.
You two
Greenwald.
You could.
Hey, that motherfucker talking spicy about AOC. He might have that one coming to him.
Oh my God, Glenn Greenwald. don't have like 40 more minutes. Fucking Jesus Christ.
One time I was listening to that motherfucker and he made me more homophobic. Like, again, I'm a legendary ally.
I was begging for that F word pass.
Like, look, I'm not saying I would use it. I'm just saying.
Well, Ramon,
like
it's your lucky day. Look under your seat right now.
Oh my God, here it is. No. Glenn Greenwald, you motherfucking.
Michelle and I both signed it. It's totally fine.
Yeah, now I can't be held responsible for anything that happens after that point, but
I didn't say it though.
All right.
I didn't, because you know why? Because I watched the Roland Emmerich Stonewall movie.
Ooh, oh my God.
You could get a hit with the brick.
Oh, all of those guys. All of those guys. Every fucking log cabin leftist loves that movie. They're like, actually, white dudes did Stonewall. Y'all don't like to hear that. And actually,
Emmerich said straight up that Stonewall was a white event.
Yeah.
I went deep on it on the anniversary of Stonewall. I legit was going to watch that movie. And then I was reading about it. I'm like, this is insane.
Reason Magazine holds that position. I think the new alt-right mag by Tablet had like some fucking Roy Cohn faggot write an article that basically surmised the same output. Was like, yeah, no, actually it was white lead. It's going to be great. Like, they're calling monkeypox an STD now, and like they're just getting as many Catholic gay men out in front of that as they can. It's awesome. It's the 80s again.
That motherfucker Roland Emmerich was talking about how like back in the day, Singer had like too many twinks around him. He was like, he had like 24 twinks, and I'm like, Brian,
yeah,
7 twinks. That's what you need. Like, that's the magic number. Like, you're going double digits. You gotta like be cool.
Oh God.
It was so fucking like to read about that shit. Like, oh yeah. So he was also just part of like the gay Hollywood cabal.
Jesus.
But we forgive it because he made Independence Day.
No, that's the thing. Everyone now, we joked earlier about the groomer sort of meme, as it were, but like, I remember Glenn Greenwald doing a video in particular. It was 40 minutes long, talking about how he was actually a trans ally, etc. And like, okay, he was like doing the Neolithic groomer posting. He was like, we all know, as we've seen as gay men around that time, we'd be at parties and we see straight men bullied and pushed and coerced into gay activity. And to say that this doesn't happen is to erase those experiences. And it's like, no, gay men at large were not gay ACLU lawyers that defended Nazis in court and were at pool parties in New York around that time and not having their skull beaten in with a baton because you can't see more than 4 of them on the street at the same time without that happening. So
listen, everybody knows that the gay experience was you go to a Dan Savage soiree.
Yeah. You'd be wearing an
Eyes Wide Shut. 13-year-olds. And then you just, you go home and you watch fucking Queer as Folk. That was what it was to be gay.
It's insane.
Having HBO was just a gay act back then.
Dan Savage is infamous for basically having James Cantor repeatedly appear in his mag, The Stranger, like basically doing virtuous pedophile shit, and then saying later on Twitter, James Cantor blocked me when I posted. It was like, pedophiles as a protected, discrete identity should totally enter the LGBTQ umbrella. And it's just like, I'm going
Once
insane.
They let the aces in, all bets were off.
It's like that specific type of 90s gay guy who's like, this is just like a different kind of love. It's ephebophilia. Glenn Greenwald literally said, no, and it's not pedophilia. Technically, it's ephebophilia. And Matt Taibbi like reaffirmed that in the same. I feel like I'm going insane. They're just going to bring it back. They're going to bring back that type of socially acceptable gay sex pest.
I love that I could say like a word or two, and then Michelle's brain will just like implode for like.
No.
It's an incredible talent.
I just think of how I hate all of these gay men in different textures, and I want to die. I'm so sorry. It's like my MK Ultra kill phrase.
Plus community. I love them. That's why I'm in such a strong ally.
Yeah.
No, to be clear,
cool.
you are the allyship bestowed.
Yeah.
We have to take the A back for allies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got
get them aces out.
We have.
They're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, we have to erase them specifically.
Aces, step it up.
Yeah, aces. Yeah, it's
the gray aces.
Milk
Get it together.
jugs of gasoline.
My favorite.
Labs.
Before we go, folks, my favorite asexual meme is the one where they sort of co-opt the Black Lives Matter theme, or the Black Lives Matter meme and the trans meme, where it's like, "Stop killing us." And it's like, "Stop killing us" with the asexual flag in the background. Like, there's a group of people out there.
That's hard. That goes hard.
They've got like torches and guns and muskets or
really
whatever,
hard.
and they're just like, "Why aren't you fucking?"
Imagine the cop when they're investigating like somebody who's just been viciously beaten up, and they're like, well, we looked into it. He hadn't had sex in about 12 years.
You know the old World
They
War
just
II
drop their clipboards and shit. They're like, "Fuck this, I'm going home."
We poked his testicles and
first
they
came
shot
for
out
the aces.
What's that?
The old World War II poem.
Oh no.
And it's like first they came for the aces.
Oh god.
Oh god.
I was gonna say like the cop pokes like the dead person's testicle and just like shoots semen out everywhere like
oh god.
Oh my god. He's been backed up. With the ace. This was a hate crime.
Oh god.
That's how they find out.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
It's terrible. On that note, folks.
Wow, this dude hasn't nutted ever.
On that note, folks.
The cop comes up and it looks like his face is just covered in fucking jizz. Like, oh god damn it, another one. Okay, I'm gonna have to go home and kiss my wife.
He steps on him.
Hope my kid doesn't grow up to be an ace. I can't.
It squirts out like a landmine.
No, but for real though, if there's any ace people listening to this, you're valid. I hear you. I see you. Your existence isn't a joke.
Coming from Bad Idea Comics, Ace in the Hole by Ramon Villalobos.
Oh god.
On that note, though, do you guys have anything? I know you guys talked a little bit about your work, but just in the spirit of the end of the episode, is there anything you guys want to plug that's coming up or anything for people to find you out there?
Ramon, is your book gonna come out?
Is yours, motherfucker?
Mine, first issue of Holy West is out.
You heard it, motherfuckers. Go buy that shit.
Go buy it. There will be a link soon. We're waiting for all the Kickstarter backers to get fulfilled.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm gonna be posting a lot more with the link. So check out my Twitter. I'm actually posting art on it now.
Mm-hmm.
Not just nasty, rude messages.
Not just rude quote tweets, not trying to get myself canceled. I'm posting art. Daniel Irizarri at twitter.com.
Yeah, and you could find me at Ramon Villalobos. Same thing what he said just about me. Mm-hmm. And you could listen to our show at soundcloud.com/Flentallo or whatever. Flentallo on Twitter. Listen, here's the thing. Our show has been gone for a while. We're coming back.
Yeah, get that juicy teaser in.
We talked about it on the show. I promise we're coming back.
You're gonna get a timely review of the Eternals.
The Eternals is first, but then after that, we're talking Vietnam. We're going Platoon, Apocalypse Now. Not movies, but like that's the energy of it. We're going on our own epic quest through the jungle.
All right.
Imagine
we're listening to some classic rock.
Jake right here. Fortunate Son is playing.
Hell yes.
Yeah, Jake, when you edit this.
Yeah, just put in Fortunate Son specific.
It's a lightly fade in, a light fade in.
Just start the cowbell for the Blowback theme song.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Basically we're going to do like blowback, but for comics. Basically, that's kind of what we're going for.
Yeah,
we love
there
it.
you go.
Because they don't do episodes all the time either, so it makes perfect sense for us.
There you go.
They're smart about it. They do seasons. I told Ramon, let's do seasons. Ramon says, "Fuck that."
I did say fuck that, and then I thought, you know what? Daniel had something with that seasons line.
A limited premiere event,
limited run,
Exclusive.
And then you can be lazy, and it's purposeful.
But no. But we haven't been lazy though. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, we just been drawing.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers have jobs. It's fine.
Like I put out, my book is going to be a banger when it comes out. Can't talk about it right now.
Everything I've seen of it is sick.
Yeah.
Secret.
I'm drawing a cover right now with a chick getting eaten out. They don't even know. They don't even know right now that I'm drawing a demon eating out a chick for the cover of our book.
Hell yeah.
And there's going to be like, you have full creative control, so we're going to accept this. But that's coming, and it's taking a long time to do that, to think of these high level ideas. I had to put my mind a break from high level ideas. But then Daniel also got a girlfriend, so he's doing the things that I'm drawing.
Wow,
that's why I had some notes, but I never.
Yeah, that's one of our
sent them out.
Daniel doing that.
So Daniel's moved like twice since we've been on break. And
yeah, that's also been like a whole thing.
It's been a whole thing to like, okay, I don't want to bother Daniel. So anyways, that's the idea. He's busy working and moving every couple weeks. I've been trying to stay not depressed and work. So it's just been hard to sit down and put out the episodes, but we're coming back soon.
All right,
and I might put up the episode just so that I don't have to hear shit from people.
Ooh,
just to reset the clock on that account that counts how many days without a Flentallo episode.
Yeah, finally.
I don't know who does that, by the way. I'm
not sure.
Really got me.
I'm worried that if I find them on the street, they're gonna kill me.
One of our fans has been running a thing every day that we don't post an episode, and like they'll sometimes tweet rude, mean things to me, and I'm just like, okay,
very.
Yeah, we're getting owned and bullied online.
It's very terrible.
They're going like what they did to John Lennon, that fat fuck.
It's gonna happen, I swear.
Mark David Chapman. That's who I met. Yeah. Jared Leto.
Get out of it.
All right.
I'll go on a walk.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't either of you get shot in front of your house. That would be terrible. I'm Michelle Perez. As always, I'm joined by Jake, Ruben. Our other two pals will be back soon enough. Or
I'm so excited to meet Ruben, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks for
having me, Sherman.
I will say,
Ramon and Daniel have been lovely. And according to Ramon, Daniel is really fucking people with that tongue. Or one person.
That's hearsay. It's satire, parody.
Yeah.
Not legally binding.
I don't eat out and tell.
But the cunning game's insane right now.
We again thank our guests, Daniel and Ramon, both of Mex Flentallo. We hope you all have a great night. Take it easy. Remember to check us out on your requisite platforms that I'm not going to name individually. If you have to review us on Apple, please do so. But never buy my comic on Apple. I love you. You're all special children to me. Have a good night.
Wait, what's your podcast about, Ramon?
Comics.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you missed that?
Fucking asshole.